Alrighty, we are back into the action, and we're unable to start back where we left off. So we are getting right back into it, literally back into the action here, as there's a fight immediately. Flannel picked up the field of warfare, so they got the first kills, but this fight is extending. They're trying to find the kill on the King of Spades, but they're just not able to do it. And Grotus takes a lot of damage, but will get out, but gets no kill in the process.
This is it by like 1 HP. So I'm just going to catch everybody up here. Direct your attention to the stats screen where you can see that this Zaya is 3-0, but this LeBlanc is 1-3. Syndra is 3-0, so Midlane not going how we expected it to. Last time we were looking, LeBlanc was kind of handily winning, so I have no idea what happened to put Syndra in such a winning position. Judging from the 3 assists from Vi, I'm gonna say there were some gank mids, or some ganks mid.
Yeah, and seeing as they are also down 1 and 3, I imagine they were all pretty darn successful. Notably, also the LeBlanc has 1 kill and Vi has 1 death, so maybe they fell 1 time during that gank process, but Syndra was able to get the kill regardless. But that does mean that this Syndra, which is one of the big powerhouses for this team, are firmly online, but Zaya is also a very scary proposition. We do see first Drake was secured by Flannel. It looks like it's going to be traded away here, as these grubs are going to be taken very quickly by Final Boss. The gold is not quite even. It's a couple hundred in the favor of Final Boss, but you know, we're 11 minutes in, and it's not like a 3K gold lead like last game, so it's a lot closer in of a fair this time around.
Yeah, this one is looking pretty close. First objectives traded, gold relatively even across the board. I am very concerned about how useful this LeBlanc is going to be, though, when she's behind. As expected, we are seeing the Aatrox win pretty heavily in the top side, though, which is a good look. Sometimes you just see these tanks kind of farming for free, and you're like, what was the point of the pick? But definitely some point here as the Aatrox has got himself a pretty considerable lead here. The fight is breaking out, but the Galio is only able to connect on Gwen. That's not going to do a lot. The Gwen ult is going to go through 3. That is a big one. Jake going to take a ton of damage early here. Zaya is kind of free-firing. She is completely untouched despite being right in the middle of it. It's going to be a 1-for-1 of the supports at the end of the day. I think you got to be pretty happy with that one for Flannel, though, as the objective is up and Jake is pretty chunked. So I think Flannel should be in a position to get the second Drake.
Yeah, Walt went in and did get a kill there. I think was the one who secured the kill onto Sunset, but again, just not enough. And with the jungler being so low, that Drake is going to be theirs for the taking. Walt is going to do a little bit of chip damage. He's going to do quite a bit to Engrotus, but I don't think it's
it's a flip, baby, but Vi is able to get it again, and Grotus's button just works better. Or not. Or not. I lied. Jake got it. Jake. Sorry, I got him mixed up. He's able to get it this time. I'm lagging a little bit too. Giggle's computer isn't working. My brain's lagging. But I'll tell you what isn't lagging is this gank bot lane. The Zaya ult is going to be used really prematurely, but it's not able to connect with the root. So Final Boss is able to walk out of this one.
There's a potential for a dive here, and it is being read. But this needs to be very clinical. Next wave.
This is not safe. They gotta leave. They gotta leave yesterday.
Yeah,
not again.
Aware of rep yet. Oh, Mr. Donkedog is making their way down. This is a 4v4 right now.
Yeah, this is a mess. They're kind of funneling into the Zaya, though, as Jake presses the R button, but he's dead before he even hits the Zaya. Zaya is so fed. I don't know why Final Boss is opting into playing around this. It looked like they had a good play there for a second, but unfortunately, the collapse is also there from Flannel. This play is so slow that both teams have plenty of time to get here, and this is going to be the dive. Doing a nice job of pulling the wave, though. Going to delay this and actually dissuade Flannel from doing it. This is so much time spent in the bot lane.
Sons of Diana is going to hit the hook just so they can prove that they can. Walt's going to do a little bit of chip damage on the walkout, but that is going to be it. That wave clear really strong there from Walt, and Powder's dead means that that dive is not going to be a success. But again, 2 more kills go over to that Zaya overall, so 5-0-2, make it maybe 6 as the Galio's hooked up and is just going to die. Double flash.
Oh my god, the flash from Chaotic was so bad. He's stuck under the turret. I think LeBlanc is going to be able to kill Walt here, but this LeBlanc just does no damage. I don't think he's getting out of this one. The clone is able to actually pull them, though. Maybe he does get out. The chain's going to force Jake away as he walks out. The clone trick works. That is so illegal. I can't believe that worked.
Yeah, and notably there, Walt does finally fall. Oh, excuse me, not Walt. Chaotic does finally fall. Walt is the one to secure the kill. So Walt is getting a little bit of pressure back. And Grotus is going to make her way over to mid to try to keep up the pressure, but it's going to be met by King of Spades. This duel is going back and forth pretty even.
Yeah, we've seen enough Cho'Gath versus Gwen top to know how that goes in the 1v1, but it's not a 1v1 as Jake is going to be able to clean up Ancrotus. The Triforce actually coming through there to give him enough attack speed to secure that kill.
Alrighty, and Rift Herald is up, so that does almost certainly go over the final boss here as Ingrotus just fell in the mid lane. So it's going to be a free one to hand over as they try to clear out this mid. Actually, looks like there's going to be a little bit of pressure. Rift Herald's been pulled out and final boss are pulling back. They're not going to go for it.
Lanza? Yeah, Aatrox is one in the back line. The ult is going to get him out for now, I think. Unfortunately, he's not quite able to get over that wall with the E. He's dodging abilities like crazy, though. Aatrox has played this pretty well. Jake flashes, but it doesn't connect with the flash Q, so there's no knock-up to be had. And Lanza is still buying a lot of time. I don't know what the rest of Flannel is doing. Do something on the map while they're chasing this guy. Oh my god, they're wasting a ton of time. Lanza plays that really well, but Flannel doesn't get anything. They're just kind of watching. Oh my god, now they're going to fight and get double taunted by the Galio. Nautilus is here, the clone is low, but not LeBlanc, and King of Spades is able to secure him with the ultimate. Gwen is able to snip away at the Cho'Gath and get that kill, but it's a complete disaster as Chaotic is totally chunked out. We'll see if the E is able to come out. It doesn't, and he goes down. And what was it all for? They watched Lanza play that whole fight really well and running away, and then they decide to fight. Once it's done, I don't understand what Flannel is doing.
Yeah, that may have been the first outright misplay we have seen from either of these teams. Not taking that time to get anything else to the map, put any pressure on mid, immediately then decide, after really doing nothing, to go for that fight and immediately fall prey to the rest of the team. I mean, that lead that they were able to get on the Chaotic has kind of fallen away now. That's 2 deaths in a row. They're still up on CS over Walt, but Walt is now 4-2-1, so they've clawed back into this. They did get a kill into the Syndra, which is nice. Shut that down a little bit. And there's really no one else super fed but Walt. But right now, the entirety of the team is doing pretty good for Final Boss. Meanwhile, a lot of the power is still being put into this Xayah for Flannel, which is a little bit weaker than it just was. We see this fight happen up on the top side. It's a bit of a wet noodle fight, but Lanza is going to be winning it out overall.
Yeah, all these Q hitboxes connecting. I think Cho'Gath might actually win this, though. Like, this chomp is going to kill him. Yeah, what the heck was that? And Grotus is ghosting in. The first ult does not connect. I still think he's going to be able to get this Cho'Gath at the end of the day, but I don't know. It's so goofy. It's so goofy looking. Reminder that we are in Game 3 of Fearless. Sometimes these games can look a little wonky. His rep is dead, I think. Yeah, he just gets raw dogged by the Nautilus hook, which is not something you want to be doing when you're the Fed member, so bit unlucky there, as Ancrotus is going to be able to clean up this Herald as well. Probably mid-turret going down too, so this is a nice little play for Flannel. They're able to get a couple of objectives here in exchange for their bot side jungle.
And notably, that's also the feat of strength going over the Flannel. Like I mentioned before, they get the feat of warfare, and that was the first turret. Oh, no, never mind. They got the first turret already. They got the top tier one. So Flannel do have those feats of strength. They did lose the Drake, so that Rift Herald for Drake was traded yet again. However, in the process, they also let a lot of their blue side jungle, which is why we're now seeing Ancrotus swapping over and counter jungling onto this blue side. King of Spades.
I don't want to see them go for this. Yeah. Just go for this. This is. Nautilus is here too.
Oh, they just win it outright because King of Spades turns around to take this fight, and Grotus just murks them, and Mel gets the kill. That's huge.
Yeah, that's disastrous. They have the Herald too. They should be able to get this. Yeah. Not only is that kill gold, that's 600 gold for the tower as well, most likely. And Grotus is going to be able to clean up the rest of this jungle too. That is a pretty costly mistake from Cho'Gath, just not really paying attention there. Was not in a safe position. That tower is long gone.
Yeah, the fact that it's going on to the I keep trying to call her Mel for some reason. The fact that it's going on to the LeBlanc is also really nice because again, LeBlanc definitely struggling a little bit early on, but has clawed back into it. 4-4-3 now. When at one point when we first joined, they were 1-3, so massive spike for them. Plus that influx of gold that they just got off of that turret. That is huge for them as they're going to be able to get a much bigger say in how this game plays out now that they have a little bit of a stronger footing. We do see Otacon is on the bottom side. I think Otacon's going to be coming up here relatively soon. There we go. Which means both teams won it. It's a matter of who's going to get prio for it. And it looks like Final Boss are going to try to get control of the spot lane so they can get some sort of prio and try to go for the take.
Yeah, Final Boss is doing a better job of setting this up, I think. Able to get that push for now. Mr. LeBlanc gets a huge chunk onto Rep, though, but he's probably going to go down for it. I think LeBlanc may have done her job, though, because the rest of Flannel is here. They have the fight. They have the numbers. They're definitely just going to win this, I think. Sunset Diner goes down. It's actually a 3v4 right now. The Xayah is getting them all in the choke, though, and doing a ton of AoE damage. Jake is doing his best, but it's not enough. As yeah, like Final Boss just funnels into that narrow alleyway to get completely destroyed by the Gwen ult plus the Xayah feathers. That was a really weird one to take. I thought they had a good position around that Otacon. I don't know why they didn't play that slower. But it is going to result in the Otacon for Flannel, and this game is cinema, folks. These guys are spectators first, and we love that.
Oh yeah, I mean, also off that, you were absolutely right. You know, the LeBlanc gets exactly what they want. Mr. Bedonkadonk does what? Takes half of the health of that Syndra. Rip immediately has to play a lot safer, is unable to do so. So the moment the engage comes through from the rest of Flannel, Rep just gets completely wiped out. And that's where a lot of the damage is for this Final Boss team, like I mentioned before. Syndra is that key piece of utility, especially this late into the game. So the fact that they just immediately got her off the board means that they struggled to really have a say in the rest of the fight. It looks like they're going to try to push the issue again.
Goodbye, Kaisa is just forced to leave the Galio to his own devices as LeBlanc is chasing her around. Classic ADC moment. Is able to actually get out, but not without his support dying. So LeBlanc, I will say, is doing what she needs to this game, despite not really having items. It's 2 fights in a row that she's managed to win without actually really killing anybody herself. So, pretty good piloting, even though we missed. It seems like this guy just thrives off the spectators watching, because it seems to be playing well every time we're watching, and it's just off screen that we're not seeing it go well.
Absolutely. Notably here, we did see that Syndra buy the Dark Seal, bought it just before we rejoined the game, and they did have 3 stacks. It is now obviously all gone away as they've fallen 2 more times and have, or excuse me, they fell 3 times and have not gotten a kill since. So the Syndra has been effectively deafened, not really given a lot of opportunity to do anything. World Thunder is going to be used to get Lanza out, but Ingrotus is already sitting on Drake, and that's just going to be handed over. So Flannel are going to secure their second Drake. It's going to be Hextech, one of the best ones, if not the best one to play for. I don't know. I don't think either of the ADCs are going to get a lot of value, but I do think Ingrotus is going to get a lot of value with Gwen with that Hextech Soul if they can secure it.
Yeah, one of the advantages of Gwen jungle is that on 2 items, she just destroys objectives. This is actually a really dangerous position for Flannel. They just don't realize it yet. Nice of Final Boss to all walk in together to be pretty safe there, but Ingrotus ult 1 and ult 2 come out, but not really going to get a lot done. Flannel is just looking to force something here because there's nothing really to fight over for the time being, but hold on. The cavalry is here, and Gwen is just destroyed. A bit of an overstay into the enemy jungle. I feel like we've been seeing Ingrotus just play in Final Boss's face this whole game. Totally disrespectful. And we've seen, honestly, mixed results. We've seen a little bit of that. We've seen a little bit of carry. But one thing is for sure, he's just going to keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah, and I think really that kill, almost less so of the fact that Ingrodos is playing super aggressive, but more so the fact that there's just so much CC potential on the side of Final Boss. Obviously, the Q into the ultimate there onto Ingrodos means that Ingrodos just has no time to react and is just CC'd for so long. Plus, the Cho'Gath is there to back it up with their CC. It just means that the moment Ingrodos gets caught, there is nowhere for them to go. So that is going to put Flannel into an awkward spot. We'll force him to reset a little bit here. Take a look at the rest of the standings of the game. And I will say, right now, massive CS advantage for the Aatrox, as well as good CS advantage for that Gwen, as well as the Xayah. Though the big thing is the 50 CS gap between these mid laners. Syndra is still super far ahead in that regard, which means Syndra does always have a chance. And one good team fight with a couple of kills going back over to the Syndra, and she could get super far ahead yet again. This is a hyperscaler. She is never quite out of the game. Just a couple of picks or a couple bit of gold, and she's a threat again.
Flannel just showed on every piece of vision ever that both of their carries are bot lanes, so Final Boss just starts the Baron in their face and forces out the TP from the Aatrox early. That is really funny. I love that Final Boss was in a position to do that. At the end of the day, it's just going to get the TP, which isn't a big deal. It's just such a goofy way to lose advantage. But if Flannel starts this, though, I wouldn't say it's any advantage lost. The recalls have come out for the Syndra, so Flannel's just going to get this for free. That is so bizarre. That is totally bizarre.
I don't know if Final Boss was anticipating that. I don't know if they were expecting them to actually just go and take it. And now they're actually going to go hunting. They're going to try to take this tier 1, but Lanza, top of the world, under TP is coming out under turret, by the way. King of Spades.
Yeah, keep your eyes on Chaotic in this fight. He is definitely the one that matters. Most of the gold on the side of Flannel. Sunset Diner is getting chunked out, but he doesn't go down quite yet. He's going to be able to get just a little bit more off before he goes down. Xayah ult is able to buy a lot of time. Kaisa is in the backline, but it's not even going to get it done. That E Blade Caller is going to get it done, though, and Flannel is going to take the win. I just got to take a second to talk about the macro on that Baron real quick. Final Boss does this play where they force Flannel over to the Baron. They're like, come force us off the Baron. Haha, we got you. Flannel's like, oh, damn, they got us. We got to come over to the Baron. They come over to the Baron, and then Final Boss just recalls. They literally tricked him into having good macro. They told Flannel, take the Baron. They pulled them all over so that they would be together to take it for free. It's insane. Speaking of insane, LeBlanc just one-shot Syndra. Gold be damned, doesn't matter. 2 items is enough. By the way, Rept has Azonias. He has the item. He didn't press it.
Oh no. Wow. That's interesting. Yeah, no, Flannel now I think firmly in the driver's seat, and Grotus do not get caught out here again. Oh no, and Grotus might just do so. Kadok is there to have a say.
He is Gwen though. This ult is doing it. Oh my god, Gwen is actually killing their whole team. That is a 3-item Gwen,
just
folks.
A half.
Yeah, that's a dead Galio. Man, Gwen is so strong on 3 items. This champ is miserable to play in the late game. They've nerfed her so many times, too. It's crazy to think that she used to be way stronger. And Grennis is going to E over the wall. He's just toying with him at this point. He's right back over. Jake is going to go down. Sterix be damned. Doesn't accomplish anything. Now Stoney's is going to come out, but it's way too little, way too late. Flannel are going to be able to secure this one, but it is only going to be 3rd drag. Walt actually isn't down yet, but Lanza is just pushing. He's not even there for this fight. Chasing Walt around is actually really good here because it's just delaying the recall timer. Xayah, Blade Caller, oh my god, this is okay.
I think it's game.
Yeah, I think it is too.
That's game. I mean, Powder's Dead is up, but if they're a support Galio, they're not going to have... yeah. Lanza can just kind of ignore them. That's just the game. Okay.
I mean, maybe it's not if they... Okay, yeah, that'll be enough. Aatrox is just
Yes.
gonna keep tanking this. I don't know why that turret is so tanky. Were the minions like not quite in range there for some reason? If Aatrox goes down here, that would be really funny, but he's not. He's got the Sundered Sky. He's got the healing. That is gonna be game. I have so many questions for final boss. I think they gotta stop putting Jake on these ganking champions. Like, please stop. Like, I want to see Jake play carry champions. We saw Rept get a lead there, and honestly, like when we came into the game, I believe Rept was 3-0, and when the game ended, he was
Yeah.
3-5. Like nothing.
Yeah, no, he went and fell off a cliff. He was 3 kills up, 3-0, and I think like 2, and had Dark Seal with I think 5 stacks on it. And I remember being like, wow, this Syndra's in a great spot to like kind of take over. And then Syndra did nothing. They just died a bunch. They got no more kills. I think they got 3 assists, and that's it.
Yeah, that was definitely the sloppiest game we've seen yet. The first two games, I think, were both pretty clean from their respective winners. This game was not decisive from either team. Flannel, at the end of the day, kills the Nexus, but they had some sleeper in moments too. This was definitely the most fun to watch, though. I am starting to wonder, though, what some of these players' pools are going to look like at this point, because some of these players are starting to get pretty pinched. I think the first one that comes to mind is Angrotus. Zyra is out. Gwen is out. I think he's got Wukong left. But if Final Boss gets that, I'm not sure what he has left. And on the other side of the map, Rept really favors these kind of control mage picks. Vigar is out. Syndra is out. A couple more that I can't remember, but like he's getting pretty pinched as well. I have no idea what these ADCs look like, but I did just get word from Giggle that XSV won their series 3-0, so they will be our first finalists. Our next finalists will be decided here in a few potentially hours, depending on who wins the next game, but we'll find out soon.
Yeah, we are going to find out relatively soon. We are going to send it over to a break, of course, let the players do all the things they need to before we get into game number 4. It's do or die here for final boss as they're looking to try to go back to back, but they're down, backs against the wall. They need to take this map to get send it to game 5, but we'll see what they have in the tank when we come back in just a couple of minutes. Alrighty, we are going into game number 4 immediately on the draft. Again, we are having issues with draft lull, so please deal with that for just a moment as we have to show the new draft screen, but at least you guys can follow along this time. If you're just now joining us, final balls are on the back foot, backs against the wall as it is 2-1 in favor of Flannel, who are looking to close out this series. XSV already secured their spot in the grand finals after winning in 3-0 fashion over on the other side of the bracket. So this is one of the final games before grand finals next week. And we see Flannel yet again on this blue side, as every time the team is lost, both teams have determined to go to the red side. And it looks like it's a B1 Camille, as yet again, these teams are prioritizing these top laners super early in their drafts.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like Camille is not a safe blind pick. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but like, is Malphite just not the answer here? I surely it's not Darius, man. That champ has sucked for a while, hasn't he? Okay, it's Darius into the Camille. That is the counter. Not sure I like that one, to be honest. Somebody that knows more about the matchup can probably inform me about just how that goes, but in my head, it doesn't seem like it's great. I think Camille just wins the side lane later and probably has easier setup in the team fights. The Misfortune going to be locked in next for Final Boss. I think that's a really good pick for the series. I do think that the Final Boss bot lane has been struggling a bit, and Misfortune is the great equalizer. If you're struggling, you pick Misfortune, and suddenly it's really easy to win lane and be effective in team fights.
Yeah, and I am seeing in chat here, thank you, Canada 10, shout out for giving a little bit of information. Darius wins hard early if Camille gets her E canceled by the hook, which was kind of what I was thinking. I think it's less of a matter of Darius winning outright in lane. I think the hope is that he wins super hard early. He puts Camille on the back foot and Darius can continue to steamroll the lane. But if he's not able to get ahead early, this could be a really rough top side for final boss. We do see the match of Misfortune in the Sivir from Flannel, and it looks like Oriana is going to be the mid laner. It's a really solid mid lane pickup. Sivir also really strong in the current meta. And kind of pairs with a lot of different supports. So I think that's actually a really good pick, as the supports are going to have to go through the next wave of bans as well.
Yeah, a couple things to point out here. Number one, I love Flannel's first three picks. I like all of these champions individually. I like them all together. Really solid pickup in the first three for Flannel. I think it's excellent. You go into the Camille with the Oriana ball on you. It's super easy setup. It's similar to Nocturne Oriana, but way easier to execute, I think. The response for Final Boss is going to be the Silas. I actually like the Akali pick better. Akali is kind of the traditional counterpick to Oriana because she actually can kind of survive the early laning pretty well and then win the side lane. You can kind of force her out of team fights by keeping her stuck in the side lane. Silas not a bad pick into Oriana. I think in isolation it's fine. I'm not sure I really love the alts uh, that he can steal so far, and showing it on 3 kind of dissuades you away from picking anything that would potentially be useful to him. So I'm not totally certain about that. That being said, I don't think Final Boss's draft is unsalvageable or anything like that. I think it's fine. Braum going to be the continued ban for here, as well as the Nocturne, and then the Rel and Thresh trying to get rid of the last of those engaged champs. I think the only one left is Alistar that I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, technically, if you're looking for another hook, there's still Leona. Leona has not been picked yet. Um, but yeah, Alistar is going to be locked in if they're paired up with that Misfortune. I think that's a pretty good combination. Trying to see who they pair up with Sivir. I guess an Enchanter, I don't think would be a bad move, but I definitely think they would need to have maybe a little bit more of a tanky jungler. But have to wait and see. Yeah, I keep seeing this Nocturne ban. I'm a little. Is Angritis known for his Nocturne? Is Angritis a good Nocturne or?
He has picked it before, I think. He definitely favors the kind of farming playstyle, which Nocturne does do. This Poppy could be jungle or support. We don't actually know yet, but I think we're about to find
Yeah.
out. I would lean towards support. I think that's probably the better role, especially since we see the Alistar. I think Poppy has insane value here against both of those champions, so a really nice pickup if you can play it. Poppy is a sleeper difficult champion to play, I
Yeah.
think. And there's Diana.
Okay.
I forgot about one. I knew there was a couple left. There are just so many of these AP farming junglers, man. Like these Leandry's champs. I don't even think the Diana buys Leandry's anymore. That was like the tank Diana builds. It's gonna be Karthus.
Okay.
I hope he picks it. I hope he picks it. Please pick the
I mean,
Karthus.
backs against the wall. If that's the trump card, this is the time to play it. They're really considering it. I do like the Diana pick. We saw how valuable it could be in, I think maybe was it last week's game or the week before? It was really strong, and there we go. Karthus is actually going to be locked in, so that's going to be the rounded out teams here. I I think I like both of these comps. So Darius is the one that's like a little weird for me, but I think besides that, I really like the rest of the composition for Final Boss, and I really like it for Flannel. I think this is the first time we've seen a pretty even draft between these two.
Yeah, I think I
At
like
least in
both of these comps. I think I like both of these comps too. I would give the ease of execution edge to Flannel just a little bit. I think Poppy has a pretty easy game plan here of just kind of stopping the Alistar engage and just punting out the Silas in any fight, really, or just kind of eating the misfortune as soon as she presses R. So I think that the ease of execution is definitely in favor of Flannel, but I think Final Boss has the tools to win this one. They have a strong top side. They have an easily gankable bot lane. Uh, they have enough pressure for the Karthus to kind of play safe and farm up. And both Diana and Karthus farm extremely fast, but I would still give the scaling edge to the Karthus just because it's so free.
yeah.
So yeah, I think I like both of these comps.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think this is the first time we're seeing them like be pretty even. In the last three games, I feel like it's been one side or another. I think we liked final bosses going into game one more than flannels, and the flannels for the last two. But they were like very clear quote unquote winners of the draft phase. So the fact that this is so close in terms of quality, I think is actually going to be really interesting. I I do like that Poppy pickup. I think that actually massively swings. I don't know if it swings the game in favor of Flannel, but we have been seeing a lot of pressure being put onto both these bot laners to get super far ahead. Obviously, the duel between Walt and oh no, I'm blanking on their name. Please remind me. I cannot
Chaotic,
think. Like
chaotic.
chaotic. Thank you. God,
Yeah,
I for some reason I was thinking you started with a K, not the C for chaotic. But yeah, but that matchup between Walt and Chaotic has been a real key piece of the puzzle. I mean, the game in which they won, Walt did really, really well. Chaotic had done well in both of the games that Flannels won. So a lot of pressure being put onto these bot laners. So the fact that Poppy's gotten picked up and that they should do pretty good, obviously can just completely shut down and send Misfortune flying if they start using the bullet time. That is massive, and also can interrupt the Alistair. I think that swings that bot lane into the favor of Flannel, and if history repeats itself, that might be a determining factor for the game.
yeah. I'm really surprised how real both of these comps look in game four. Like usually in game four, your comps are almost necessarily got some like really like bizarre kind of bad champs because it's just literally all that's left, right? Like when you watch competitive, you see kind of the same 50 champions cycled through, but by the time you're getting to game four, like you're already down what something like 40 champions. But I'm happy to
Yeah,
say that I think all these champions are very real. Karthus is kind of an odd one, but that's definitely a comfort pick for Jake. That's kind of what he came into the league known for. I'm not sure I've ever actually seen him win on it, but he always seems to do well on it. So if he does win, that'll definitely be a signature game for him, I think.
absolutely. But with all that being said, as the final picks are coming through here in the draft lull, not the draft lull, the actual league draft. We are going to send it to possibly our last intermission. This is game number 4. It's do or die here for the side of Final Boss, but they're looking to take this game, send us to game 5. But Flannel looking to close it out here. We're just going to have to wait and see how it all shapes out on the Rift in just a couple minutes when we get back. Alrighty, game number 4. We are starting to get to, I don't want to call it overtime, but definitely the late stages of the series. If this game ends up going the way of Final Boss and we go to game 5, it's going to get real interesting here in the next draft. But we have to get through this game first, as Flannel are looking to close this out. Final Boss, we just look it up. Fun fact, Jake being on the roster means that if they end up winning this, make their way into the grand finals, and if they can pull out the win, Jake would be the first and only ever 2-time LFA champion for this year. So that would be an insane accomplishment for them, but obviously backs against the wall right now. It's going to be a bit of a mountain to climb, as we are seeing a little bit of aggression from Flannel here on mid, putting some pressure on Rept and Jake. Meanwhile, the opportunity is being taken to put some pretty advanced wards down.
Yeah,
over
Darius
on the
was
top
able to
side.
get that ward onto the blue buff though. So once again, it is pretty much traded across the board. Wards onto the Raptors as well. Both junglers gonna be seen here. Honestly, I'm not sure why Flannel's even attempting to ward aggressively. Everybody knows what Karthus is gonna do. He kind of does the same stuff every time. He's just gonna full clear. In this instance, it's gonna be starting the wolves instead of the blue buff, but it's all pretty much the same. They gotta know where he's going. But we are in to game 4 officially, as the first bit of damage has been done onto this Alistar. One of the things that sucks about Alistar is that he is really bad at level 1. So it's absolutely insane to me that Flannel is not hitting him. Why is Alistar allowed to walk up to the wave and just hit him? But lots of trading in the top side too. Darius is going to be able to get a lot of those bleed stacks down. But Camille's actually trading decently well. Relatively even there. A bit of the push going to Orianna, as we might expect in a range versus melee matchup. But otherwise, pretty standard across the board.
Yeah, not a lot of pressure being put onto this Final Boss side. In fact, they're going to get level 2 first. So looks like Chaotic and Sunset Diner are not going to take advantage of the weak level 1 of Alistair. Meanwhile, up on the top side, we do see King of Spades continuing to put pressure onto Lanza. Again, this is favored for Darius, at least early, but Lanza's doing some serious damage.
Yeah, I mean, if this is how the level 1 trading is going, I'm not looking forward to later, because Camille scales really hard, especially on one item. It feels like this champion is so strong. Darius has got to stop getting hit by these sweet spots. that's why he's losing these trades. Camille heals so much when that happens, plus with the shield. Yeah, Rept is going in for a trade here, but I think King of Spades might just be dead. That is a terrible, terrible start for the top side of Final Boss. This is already looking really good for Flynn. That Darius is really your strong point early. He needs to be ahead, and that is just not happening right now. A good early look from Angrotis. Isn't afraid to give up a little bit of farm to get the party started top.
Yeah, that is absolutely massive. And it looks like Diana's going to go in and put some pressure onto Repta as well, giving over, like you said, some CS early, but man, having a lot of impact and say on how the rest of the lanes are being played out. Bot lane struggling a little bit, but Siva's going to scale into this, so I'm not all that worried. Miss Fortune is always going to have a little bit of a head start, especially after Alistair gets a bit of footing underneath them. Lanza getting ahead, though, like you said, the big strong point of this early game for Final Boss is this Darius. So Darius being so far behind early, that is rough. A whole level down now as well.
Yeah, Final Boss does have a bit of a farm advantage already, but Diana's going to be able to clear these camps, and her bot camps are going to be spawning, although it looks like Karthus is already on them. The minimap is so tiny, I can't really tell if they actually took it. I think they did. Yeah, 4 minutes. That's a nice little steal from Final Boss, going to give them a bit of advantage, especially if Mr. Badonknut goes down here. The pots are going to save him for now, though. Just barely able to survive that Ignite tick. A bit of a lucky one there. He does have TP, so he's going to mostly be unpunished. At the end of the day, though, Diana gives up one camp, essentially, for that play top, which I think is worth it. Obviously not great to let the Karthus scale like this. He is getting pretty advanced in terms of farm already, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. I think Diana is pretty happy with that one, but the gold is relatively even for the time being as a result.
Yeah, as we do see, jungle objectives are going to start coming into play here. Drake is going to be up. Arthas is in the area. So is Diana, though. And it actually looks like Diana maybe them being seen down by the bot laners is going to give away a little bit. It's going to recall on the ward, maybe give a little bit of room to Karthus. Now Karthus going to back away.
Yeah, I think that Diana should know that Karthus is topside, so she might actually look to Q over the wall and start the dragon here. It would not be spotted if she did. It looks like she's going to play it safe, though. Final Boss has really good vision in Diana's jungle. Flannel is not really doing the same. This Karthus is just kind of getting to free scale, so it's looking pretty good for the jungle on the side of Final Boss. I am still very worried about topside, though.
Yeah, Darius is continuing to put pressure on the Hansa here, but still a level behind and hasn't really been able to punish Lanza and take away much CS. I am a little worried about this bot side, however. This Misfortune and Alistair combination is just not letting the Sivir and Poppy breathe. Obviously, they're not super behind. In fact, they're pretty much level, but the lane is so far in favor of this Misfortune. If they are able to find a dive, or if they're able to just find the opportunity for a gank, it could so easily flip firmly in favor of Final Boss.
And Grotus is as bad at math as I am. He's just dicking around topside. Karthus is going to take his Raptors again. It looks like Poppy is going to be here to defend it, though. Mr. Badonkdog has to know that Jake is here. That's crazy that he's going to die to this. The ult is going to buy a little bit of time, but it's not going to be enough to get the first blood over to Jake. But the trade is going to be onto this top side. King of Spades does not think that Diana's going to be here because why would he? He's losing his Raptors on the bot side, but Darius is fighting this out pretty well. Lanza is very low. The flash is going to be forced from Angrotus, but he's going to be able to get the job done. The dragon is traded on the bot side, though. Honestly, I think I would have rather Karthus just taken this bot side. Like, I would rather see this Karthus 100 CS up than have this dragon. But hey, he's here for a reason. He knows what he's doing, so I'm going to trust him.
Yeah, Jake is going to get that one for practically free. Like you said, not going to take any of the camps, so that does mean this is going to be a full clear here for Angrotus. Going to be able to get back a little bit into it. Karthus starting up their blue side as well. And we are starting to see, I mean, both of those kills that happened up on the top side, Lanza has not gotten it handed over to the Diana. So Angrotus, a little bit behind in farm, but is making up for it in the gold that they're getting from securing those kills, and is not falling horribly behind. So Angrotus is going to be in a pretty good position. I am just a little disappointed because the lane is already going so far in favor of this Camille. If that Camille had another kill or two in their pocket and an extra bit of gold, they could be steamrolling this lane. But since they did not, it's still in their favor, but it's definitely more close than it probably would be otherwise.
Jake needed to reset yesterday. It looks like they're going to greed and go for these grubs on spawn immediately like they have the whole series. And I guess he knows that Angrotus is on his Krugs. And there's the pause. I'm assuming because Angrotus is just now realizing that it's 8 minutes and the grubs are up. Maybe a tactical computer spill again to give him the advantage coming into this one. But we'll let you know when we hear a word from Giggle on how long we expect this to be.
Yeah, definitely feels like it's a little bit out of sync here for Angrotus. Like, he's still finding value on the map, but it feels like he is just constantly a step behind Jake, who is just able to just stack benefit after benefit after benefit. It's not anything that's really putting Flannel behind, but it's putting himself and Final Boss ahead, which means Angrotus is technically behind, even if they've been doing well so far. It's a very weird state for Flannel to be in right now.
This is so insanely greedy from Jake, by the way. He is backed one time. He is doing this with a 900 gold item, 8 minutes. I mean, he's going to complete a full item when he backs. The fact that this is just unpunished because the lane prow is insane. This is like so illegal to me that they're getting away with this. But they are getting away with it, and they've done it, I think, every game. Is this a perfect grub count? This is game 4. They're getting 3. I believe they got 9 in the first 3 games, so this is 12 for 12 on the grubs for Final Boss, I think. Yeah. bit of a free advantage for them. I think that Flannel is happy to keep scaling, though. Their Sivir is doing pretty well in a lane that she probably should be losing, and the same with Camille, so maybe they're just happy to give it.
Yep, we do see a freeze here. That is normal, you know, it's normal spectator things. It's a small development company. You have to give them a little bit of credit. But like you said, grubs are going to be secured, and Mr. Dongadonk is going to deal some serious damage to Rept on the way out as they have to back away. Like I said, this Sivir is actually doing pretty good in this lane, despite definitely probably being in the, or should be in a bit of a negative. So it looks like Rept might be a target here, and Grotus is in the area as well as the Poppy, but a very heavily held turret is going to deter them away. Yep, they're just having a knock away. There's no need for that dive.
I hate Karthus players, by the way. He still has not backed. Like, he's just, like, full clearing these camps with 1/3 of an item for the first 10 minutes of this game, and somehow he's completely unpunished. I mean, it worked out great for him, right? But it's riskier than it looks because he's not getting punished. When he backs, he's definitely at least going to have one full item, maybe components of the next item as well. Yeah, Karthus is going to have a huge jump in power here that I'm not sure Flannel is ready for.
Yeah, which is certainly scary. Yep, Blackfire Torch bought outright as well as a pair of boots. So, not a whole new component. We do see the Silas go for that Dark Seal as well. Rept bought that in the last round as well. So that's going to be something to keep a lookout for. Obviously, like I said, got the 5 stats before it all kind of started crumbling. Feats of Strength are going to be factors here relatively soon as well. 2 major jungle objectives to none in favor of final boss, while it's 2-1 in terms of kills for the feats of strength or feats of worth. As Silas has been caught out a little bit, but the team is coming to the rescue.
Yeah, Poppy was just looking for that 1v1. She wanted that smoke. Speaking of that, Angrotus is top lane again. King of Spades just cannot catch a break. Angrotus has repeatedly shown that he's willing to give up the bot side, but this mid play is not quite going to result in a kill, as the Poppy ult is going to be just enough, but I think that the Karthus ult is going to do it. It's canceled by the Poppy, though. He does it right in her face. Sunset Diner getting a lot done this fight. Not going to be able to dodge the chain, so Silas is going to be able to get a double kill there. Poppy delivery system. Alistar's not done. I think he still has ults. He does, so he's going to be able to turret dive if he wants to. And Grotus goes in with the ult in the meanwhile. It's a 3v2, but one is already down, so it's already reduced to a 2v2. And Grotus is super low. He's going to have to leave here. The Karthus passive is doing a lot. Misfortune, meanwhile, is flashing in. The barrier from Chaotic is going to save him for now, but he is just losing minions like crazy under this turret. Misfortune going to be able to do a ton of damage and get a favorable reset off of this wave push.
Yeah, side lanes working out beautifully for final boss as well, despite the fact that Poppy is able to interrupt that Karthus ult. It gives room for Silas to come back into the fight and clean up the mess. And that does mean that the feats of strength, or excuse me, the feats of warfare go over to final boss. Like I said, they're already 2-0 up in favor of those major jungle objectives. So they are on the doorstep of those feats of warfare, as Flannel definitely going to be struggling a little bit, especially as they're losing. I don't want to say they're losing mid lane. It's a little bit more neutral, but they're definitely losing that bot lane pretty convincingly. So Flannel are definitely in a race against the clock here, because if they lose that turret down bot side, they are pretty much screwed in that regard. Drake is up, and it is Cloud. This is a good one to play for, and they definitely want it, especially with the Sivir in play. They're going to try to force the issue here.
Yeah, Flannel benefits from every second that Final Boss wastes around here because they just want to delay the Karthus farming as long as possible. Darius ult comes down, but it's not able to quite secure the kill. The Q doesn't connect. Meanwhile, around the dragon, the Alistar goes in, but he's not able to connect with much. The huge shockwave from the Orianna is definitely going to win this one for Flannel and maybe the game. That is the hero play from Mr. Badonkadonk. The 4-man ult gets it done. And oh my god, that was good, but Chaotic is going to be forced under the tower by this MF ult and is going to go down at the end of the day. It is a 3 for 3 at the end of the day. Even though it looked huge for Flannel, it's actually an even trade.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a little bit of awkward positioning means they will fall there, but Lonza is going to be able to pick up King of Spades on the side lane. So overall, Flannel will edge a little bit of a win as Mr.
Oh no, this is a double kill.
No. Karthus is going to go. Mr. Dog's barely alive. Oh my lord. I think the shield from the ball kept them alive there, but they did get the kill on the Lanza. So overall, after everything, Karthus does his thing. It's a 4v4. Drake is still available. And notably, since Final Boss did lose that fight, they're back into the action already. And Grotus is there to possibly have a say. The rest of the team is so slow to the fight, I don't even know if they're going to try to go for it.
Yeah, I think they kind of got to wait this one out. Bot lane was close for a while, but the Misfortune is really ahead now. 30 CS deficit. Plus, when you're comparing one item to one item, you got to favor the Ghost Blade over the Yuntel Wild Arrows. That is just heavily favored for Misfortune until at least 2, maybe 3 items. Sipper will obviously be a lot more useful late, but for right now, this Misfortune is just way stronger. Flannel is wise to give that one up.
Absolutely. Especially also as the Oriana buying the Rod of Ages is going to take a little bit to start getting those stacks. So it's not going to be as strong as the Proto Belt that was just picked up by Silas. So that is pretty much the state of the game. Second Drake now secured by Final Boss. That is also feature strength as well, as that is the third major jungle objective into their pocket. Flannel not picking up a single one yet. Definitely going to be hoping to stop the Drake stacking relatively soon here, but Richo is up and we're trying to make a play for it. It's going to be 2v2 here.
Yeah, Lanza is actually going to go for rep, but they don't have the numbers right now. However, the cavalry is here, and they're able to execute one right in their face. Poppy is able to feed the Alistar into the wall. It's looking really good right now. Mr. Badonkadonk is able to get a lot here. We'll see what the Ori ball is able to do, and it's a lot. Lanza is exhausted, but it's way too little, way too late. Karthus is going to go down, and he's not even going to be able to get any kind of retribution. It's a huge win for Flannel, and they're going to be able to get this Herald as their prize.
Huge swing. They do lose the turret on the bot side, but that Rift Herald is going to help out a lot, especially as Chaotic's doing a lot of damage to that mid-tier 1. I could see a world in which they take that mid-tier 1 here in the next couple of runs. They might just take it here, actually. Chaotic. Okay, he's going to back away. He's going to play that pretty much safe. But Rift Herald is secured. I can imagine a world for the next Drake fight we see. You know, they try to take prior mid, drop the Rift Herald, get that mid-tier 1, and then try to force the issue on Drake. Looks like they're just taking a fight. It's a 3v2 though. Why are they taking this?
Misfortune can't ult because Angrotus will just ult if she does there. That's why it's so delayed. Good patience from him to kind of wait that out. Yeah, that's a bit of a freebie onto the Alistar there. That was weird.
And also, we did see the Misfortune and
oh, what? What? The flash Q hits absolutely nothing, but it puts him in range to E, I guess, so it's worth it. I wonder if he was trying to do the Q trick where you flash like 45 degrees to make it, to extend it, but it works anyway. Wall goes down. Final boss is kind of falling apart at the seams.
Yeah, what they got in terms of advantage early is now being displaced here by the kills, as they are very slowly going over to Flannel more and more. Have to give a massive shout out to Mr. Badonkadonk. Obviously, and Grotus is getting a lot of the praise for being 5-1-7, but these shockwaves coming out of the Oriana are coming up absolutely massive when they need them most. How does that? I don't think he's going to spot Diana. They're taking a lot of big damage while there's a fight on top side, and Rep is just going to get run down. That's a lot of damage from the Camille.
Yeah, Rep just has no chance, and I think they're going to win the back end of this fight too, as King of Spades is here, but so is the rest of Flannel. The turret is just getting killed right in King of Spades' face. I think he's going to be able to defend it for now. The turret plus the Darius ultimate is going to be enough, and Flannel has overstayed their welcome, actually, as the rest of Final Boss has arrived. They're able to get a couple kills for their trouble, a 2 for 2 at the end of the day overall, but they'll take anything they can get.
Yeah, I mean, Rep falls, which does kind of set them back pretty far. Obviously has that Dark Seal, so keeping them down as much as possible will be nice. It's chaotic, and the Poppy are sitting around the corner waiting to jump someone, but Walt's going to spot them and deter them away. A lot of low health turrets here across the board. I see 3. Four. The only tier 1 that's really has any health to really work with is that blue side tier 1 mid lane. As we start seeing a lot of turrets fall, it's going to be a lot of gold into the pockets of multiple members of both teams. It's going to be important to keep track of who's getting who. who's going to get accelerated off of that influx of gold.
Hey, Soren, if you had to guess, who do you
Hey,
think
dude.
has more gold? Who has more gold right now? Are you surprised to see that the gold is exactly even right now?
I honestly am. I haven't really been keeping track of that. I've been more following the vibes of the game. And you're absolutely right. It is exactly even,
Oh
which is
my
weird.
god. Somebody needs to explain to Engros how the Diana Q works. Just misses the point blank one on the card that's face checking. So he's not able to get anything done. The Camille is in here. The MF ult is going to do a lot, and it's going to buy a lot of
Oh,
space with a
Shockwave.
huge Diana ult. He
Oh,
definitely...
God.
Wait, was that Diana ult or Shockwave or both?
It
I
was
don't even know, but this
back.
Karthus ult is going to... This Karthus ult is going to get a pentakill.
It was
I
both.
just had it confirmed that it was both. The bounce house is initiated. A nice play from the side of Flannel. But surprisingly, it's not that decisive. Some low health bars here mean that this is actually pretty risky to take, especially in the face of this Darius. It looks like Rept is going to go down, and King of Spades is not quite able to get it done. He looks for the hero play, but all he gets is nothing. But Flannel's going to get the drag.
Yeah, that was a double there. I think it was Shockwave first that found 3. Diana Q's in, pops the ult, gets everyone again. The cleanup is solid, but it's Karthus, so if you don't win the fight convincingly, you're going to lose 1 or 2. They lose 2, but in the end, that Diana is just starting to become a real problem. 8, 2, and 10 does the damage that's required to kill Rep, and then it's a 3v1, and well, Darius is able to do a lot, but not able to do it all, and that is going to be yet another convincing team fight win for Flannel. We talked about a little bit of like, do you think that this Karthus is actually going to be very influential? I really think Karthus has been ungodly influential. Not so the fact that it's giving Final Boss like the lead. I think if anything, the fact that this Karthus is in play is the only thing keeping them from falling super behind. Because these team fights are so good for Flannel. If they didn't have the cleanup potential of this Karthus ultimate, they would be so much farther behind than they are.
I almost feel like if Flannel wasn't getting these insane wombo combos, they would actually be losing these fights. Because these fights are close with them landing these perfect engages. So I'm actually like a little worried about what's going to happen when that doesn't happen. We've seen Flannel have sticky fingers a few times in these fights throughout the series. But so far this game, they've been very clean. All these engages landing on the multiple members. Jake wants to back, but Otacon is up, so they're going to be pulled over towards it. We'll see if they take the bait. Looks like for now it's just going to be Rep going into the backline. He's isolated by himself, though. Multiple people getting chunked out by this Otacon, especially Rep, though. He is going to be forced to back, but he does have TP, so I think that was maybe a nice little play if he's able to get back here and TP back in time for this Otacon. I think Flannel wants to reset this. I don't think they have vision of Jake recalling right now. If they did, they would surely just be doing this right in their face.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little bit late to see them back away, but no info on where Jake is means they are going to get this started. It's going to be a race back from Final Boss.
Yeah, they're going to kill this really fast, though. They have a Sivir and a Diana. They do a ton of damage. It's still really risky, though. Only down to half health. Looks like the engage is going to come out onto the Darius. Oh my god, Poppy pulls Darius out of the Diana also. It doesn't connect. A huge disconnect there. I think that Darius is going to go down either way there, though. The Camille is going to pull the Darius right back over the blast cone. It's a disaster as they're all grouped up into the MF ult. The exhaust comes down as well. It's going to secure the kill onto Lonza. This is a huge win for Final Bosses that's probably going to result in them getting the Otacon. I just mentioned that I was worried about what would happen to Flannel if they didn't play these fights perfectly. What do you know? They play one a little disconnected, and now they're potentially losing an Otacon for it. The Sivir is doing a lot of damage, though. She's untouched for now. The ricochets are bouncing through the whole team.
Oh my.
And suddenly, just like that, Final Boss has taken their advantage and thrown it away. They won this fight for the time being. This Diana is incredibly tanky with his build, though, and is able to just walk right into Walt and take absolutely zero damage from this lethality MF.
Yeah, and Grotus being the front line there, but chaotic on the Sivir. Like you said, those ricochets doing so much damage, just absolutely melting Rept. And that does mean that it gets flipped once again. Jake's gonna go take some camps, but yeah, Otacon's not even going to be secured, so it is going to be a race yet again to get back to the pit to try to secure this. So it looks a little bit disconnected. Jake's already on the top side. I don't know if they're expecting... I don't know if they're expecting the back away from Flannel. Jake's now so far away from the Sadicon, it should just be handed over.
Yeah, Jake is just betting that they don't have the balls to do it, and he's betting correctly, which is good for him. I haven't even had a moment to mention it, but this Sunfire second for Diana seems weird to me. I actually like Tank Diana. I know they nerfed it a while ago, but I think this game it makes a lot of sense. They need somebody to go first, but why Sunfire? Like, is that really the item? She doesn't need the extra wave clear. And the armor seems kind of not good here. So yeah, I'm a little sussed out about that one, but either way, it's working. Getting the job done as the... I can't remember what that item's called. The Healy one. Armor and MR as the third item. That one's pretty good.
Oh.
That's traditionally the second item for Diana when you're doing the tank stuff. But she has that now too, so she's going to be really tanky for this fight.
Yeah, notably, this is actually a really good positioning. Jake stepping away, clearing fully, does create enough time for Diana to go take theirs, but now the positioning for Final Boss is so much better, so much control of this jungle. And Gretus and Chaotic are in a very awkward position, separated from the rest of the team, possibly in a 2v3. The rest of the team can find a way of getting to them. They might be able to do something here. Super Dunk joins them on the side, flanked from Sunset Diner.
Oh, it's a messy one. And Grotus is able to connect with 2, though. MF is forced to flash out. She does a good job of dodging the ult. The huge Poppy R is going to connect with 3, though. The MF ult is able to retaliate and clean up at least 1. On the backside, it looks like the Darius is next to go down. The Karthus ult is able to get a lot of done. And Grotus is the one that's still alive. Mr. Badonkadonk is not able to contribute much at this point in the fight, as Angrotus is winning the sustain war against the Silas, able to get a ton done. But at the end of the day, it looks like it is just Angrotus being chased by the bot lane of Final Boss, and I don't think he's going to be able to win this. The Alistar headbutt is going to do a lot, but he's just healing like crazy. MF is able to get it done in the end, though, as Final Boss is able to win a fight when it matters most, just as the dragon is spawning.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to secure it. I mean, Sunset Diner is here, but I don't know if they're going to have that much of a say, especially because, yeah, Ultimate was used, and they're not going to be able to back away. They have enough damage as well between Walt and Powder's dead, so they're going to be able to take this Drake, probably get the soul points here. Unless they're afraid, they're gonna back away. No, they're gonna.
Poppy,
no, they're dragging it out. There's no way Poppy interrupts this, right? There's no shot. Here comes Karthus. Okay, this should be secure. What is happening in this game right now? Hey, by the way, it's still even. It's 48.9 to 49. There we go, 49 apiece. The goal is still yet again dead even between these two teams. Soul point for Final Boss, who are the jungle advantage, but Flannel have been winning team fights more consistently, so they have the kill advantage. Wow.
Yeah, with this much farm, I'm surprised that Karthus only has 2 items, and MF is almost full build. It feels like it's been about the Karthus, but I guess maybe I wasn't paying attention to some of this. MF must have picked up a lot of kills that fight, because suddenly she is very fed and very strong.
Okay, the Camille is gonna get interrupted though. Lonza goes over the wall, but is unsuccessful in finding Walt. Have to back away now. Baron is up, and it looks like they're positioning for it, maybe even trying to tease it, go for a turn here, but it looks like Final Boss are not biting. They're playing this super carefully.
Yeah, the solo lanes of Flannel are pretty ahead at this point, but I'm still really scared of this Karthus and these 3 drags from the side of Final Boss. So
oh my God,
even with the kills, yeah. Oh my God, we completely forgot about it. I can't even believe that objective is still up. That is crazy.
I was like, where the hell's Diana? What is Diana doing down on bot side?
Oh man,
I was like, oh God, Otacon was never taken.
Final Boss forgot about it too, because they could have been doing Baron during that. They just didn't know. Lonzo's going to take that turret right in Darius's face and potentially win the fight afterwards, too. This is insane if he wins this. Surely Darius all just... He didn't use it. He just...
It was Silas. He had already...
Okay. Sorry, I am completely oblivious, I guess. The screen's a little blurry for me, but not that blurry. As Silas is just kind of useless this game. Looking at these items is really depressing.
Yeah, I feel less and less confident in that seal purchase from earlier. But that's a huge engage. Jake is just going to be deleted here. But they're going to
Yeah,
follow it
but
up.
the
The bullet time
MM.
clean.
Oh my god, all these fights are so close. Karthus is so squishy. Please, I'm begging you, use some of that gold to buy Zonias. I'm begging you, please. He still doesn't have death cap, and he wants it to. Oh, it's gonna be death cap next, isn't it? It's gonna be. Another item completed for Diana. That is 4 for her. The Rift Maker is just gonna amplify the healing from that Unending Despair as well. Yeah, this game is complete insanity. I'm hoping that that Forbidden Idol on the Poppy is going to be redemption, because nothing you buy is going to make you even remotely tanky at this point. Items are just a mess across the board. Sivir has 3 items finally, so maybe if she's able to stay alive in these fights, it'll be close, but she just keeps getting hit by these Alistar combos and one-shot by the MF ult, so the Karthus ult isn't even mattering. This game is insane. I cannot wait to see what we have to see for this Baron fight.
Yeah, and it looks like that is going to be the target here. Both teams starting to position for it. We do have the 2 mid laners on the side down on bot lane, but the wave is going to start making its way over. It's going to be a clear for Orianna, but that Silas is already making their presence known. Lanza tries to find Jake early, but is going to get caught out here. A lot of damage. So they have to run for their life. I don't know if they're going to be able to get away. Never mind, they will.
And Flannel's doing the thing where they watch him get chased again. I guess they got a little bit of mid-prio at least. So that's something. Lonzo doing a really good job of getting the attention of Final Boss. Does not die there. Does not have TP though, so probably wants to reset here, although it looks like she's managed to get most of her health back from that Ravenous Hydra healing. So Camille going to be doing all right here. Level 17. Level 16's across the whole top side of the map for Flannel. Not seen on the side of Final Boss yet, though, as Jake is just one shot. That's, I mean, that's potentially a game-ending play. Here goes the Baron, too. 34 seconds on this drag. Yeah, and Jake is so fed that his respawn timer is really long from this level 16, I believe. Doesn't even get the ult off either. Decides not to use it, as this is probably going to be dragging for Flannel as well, as Jake is dead just too long.
Yeah, and Grotus is going to be able to get onto this first. 10 seconds left. They're going to do a little bit of siege here on the mid lane. Obviously, that Baron buff is going to help. The damage that Chaotic did, that was a single auto attack. Rept is also going to just get chunked away. Lanza, though, undeterred. That's really risky.
Rept is still level 14, by the way. I mean, Lanza is just fucking with him at this point. Sorry for the language. He is having a lot of fun, though.
Statement's not incorrect, just poorly phrased, but you are correct at this point. Lanza's just kind of running around the map, and with the mobility that Camille has, they're able to get away for practically free. I mean, that just drew, what, 4 people up onto the top side while that Drake was being taken? I know Final Boss wasn't really in a position to do anything about it, but still, that's a lot of pull away. That means that they're able to find a lot on that bot side. Flat on that big.
Yeah. For Final Boss to win, Jake has got to find a way to not get one-shot in these fights. I feel like the last 4 fights, he's been one-shot. I feel like at one point he was 7-3, and now he's 7-7. It's kind of like what happened to Rept last game, where it just like whoever the fed person on Final Boss is just not able to like connect with anything useful past the 15-minute mark. Chaotic is a little bit caught, and he does actually go down. This could be the break the Final Boss needs. The follow-up from Flannel is instant, and Lanza is in the back line. We'll see if he's able to get Jake. He is able to get it done. Jake is going to be able to get a little bit done after his death with the passive, but I don't think it's going to be enough to kill Lanza. Meanwhile, health bar is low pretty much across the board. Mr. Badonkadonk is forced to just play this safe. And Grotus is really tanky, though. They still are not able to kill him at all. He's doing a ton of damage. The flash from Lanza after the E is going to be enough to connect with Darius, and that's going to secure the kill. The Q, once again, misses from the Diana, but Rept is just so useless, man. He is like... Is he level 15 now? Is he even level 16 yet? I feel like... Wasn't it like 15 minutes ago I said he had 2 items, and now he just has the component of the Zonias, which he doesn't use. Flannel is pushing into the base. I don't think they're going to be able to end here, but this certainly seems like Flannel has what they need to win this game.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. It gets them another Drake as well. It gets that inhibitor. It gets kills over to some very important people. This Diana is now ungodly powerful. What level are they? They are now level 18. We have two level 18s on the side of Flannel. Meanwhile, it feels like Final Boss a little bit behind in that regard. Jake is still level 17. Uh, yeah, I mean, Sunset Diner is level 13, which is a little bit behind, but the put in perspective, like you said, I think that's still pretty much on par with Rept. Yeah, Rept is only level 15, which is a little rough as your mid lane Silas. Yeah, Rept has just not been able to do much. Lonza needs to get out. Does have GA, so does have a second chance, but the mobility is there.
Yeah, Lonza is still doing a really good job. The Steris cooldown is just about to come up, too. Sunset Diner is kind of out of position here, actually. I really hate that Flannel is opting into this choke. Like, the only way I think that Flannel loses is if they get MF ulted. But a huge engage from Lonza is probably going to be enough. MF ult is going to rip through the whole team, though. Plus, the ult out from the Silas is actually going to get done. We're making fun of him, but that is a huge play from Rept. He's able to punt out half of the team and potentially win this fight. But the Sivir is still alive, but she's forced to just walk away as it's a huge win for Final Boss as Flannel is completely ripped apart. But Final Boss has to look at their base.
Oh god, they're taking so much turret damage. Yeah, no, that was massive. Rept doing exactly what was necessary there. Maybe not influential in terms of the damage, but gets the right ultimate that time, picks up the Poppy ult, sends key pieces of this Flannel team flying away. Final Boss are able to pick up the scraps of what's left and then clean up the rest of the fight. That was a massive win for Final Boss, giving them a chance back into it, closing that gold gap to about 2K. But yeah, that's a massive win, and it's off the back of Rept. We were just giving them grief, but hey, you make plays like that, you have to give props, even though the damage isn't there, the playmaking is.
Yeah, that was a nice one. That for sure won them the fight. They absolutely lose that if that isn't exactly the ult that they got. That was a big play from Rep to save this. However, I do want to point out that Karthus is not buying Zonius. it just feels so wrong. Like I know the theory that like when your team is losing and you're behind, you should just build damage because like what's the point of being alive if you're Karthus and you do no damage, right? Like there's no point in going gold and saving yourself if you don't do damage. But Karthus is doing damage. You just can't stay alive long enough to actually do it. But Final Boss is setting up for this drag, and this is potentially a game-winning play for Final Boss if they're able to secure the soul without losing their base.
Okay, Sunset Diner is going to be found. It's going to take a lot of damage. Q's going to go wide for Angrotus. It is going to be a Diana ult steal here. Drake is up, so is Baron. This is a winnable position, I think, for both teams here. Lonza's actually going to go for the back door. They might just try to go for a stall.
Yeah, Flannel just needs to chase them here and not let them back. Oh, no, they're playing it. Oh, no, they're playing it so scared. Go chase them. Go chase them. Oh, Jake is probably going to go down here, but I think that's going to be the only one. They got... Poppy is not able to stop any of the other backs, so it's just going to be one inhib. The Karthus ult is going to kill Sunset Diner from half, by the way. This game is not done. Flannel needs to find a way to get this Baron right now before Jake spawns. Like, they can't be doing this. Like, they need to be going and doing this Baron right now while they have this kind of man advantage.
Yeah, I don't mind that Lonza play, but you need to play aggressive if you think that. I mean, you already were taking a bit of the advantage in every team fight. One good combo would do it there. So I don't know why they don't push the issue, give Lonza more time, even if you lose the fight overall. I don't think they outright win, especially if it's a delayed push like that. They're going to try to go, but God, so much damage. They'll just have to back away.
Final Boss is going to win this game. They're gonna win. They're gonna win.
Lonza's on the side lane.
Angrotus is dead here. Yeah, at the ult over the wall. This is gonna be Baron. Karthus doesn't even need to be there. He can just clear this wave right in front of Lonza. It doesn't matter. There's no risk of it being stolen. And I cannot believe that Flannel has found a way to potentially lose this one. It would be bad if Jake dies here, though. Jake needs to not die here. Because if he does, okay. Yeah. And he's able to 1v1 the Camille now. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, and the March is in play. They're gonna lose every turret leading up to the base, maybe even that tier. Actually, yeah, definitely that tier 3. Mr. Pedonkodamon is the closest at 10 seconds. Sunset Diner, the lone man standing, but I don't know if he can do anything in this 4. They're just gonna launch one, but that's only gonna temporarily slow it down.
Yeah, Camille is dead for so long. They really need Sivir to be alive to clear these waves. It is going to be hard for them to end if Sivir can get up in time to actually clear this wave, but I don't think that's going to happen. The turrets are already down. The Orion ult is going to do a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough. Final boss just wins off
Ow.
that play. Oh my goodness. We are going
Holy.
to game 5. Huh.
That was a game and a half. That one looked like Flannel had that one in the bag, and I don't even know what it was. I mean, Flannel definitely made a couple of misplays, but I do have to say something here. For as much grief as we gave him, the turning point in that game was when Rept hit that ultimate. They win that team fight, they get that Drake, they hold off to push on Lanza, they then take that Baron and they march down. That fight was instrumental, and they don't win without Rep's ultimate there.
Yeah, if you're Flannel, I don't know how you're not tilted after that game because I'm tilted. I'm tilted watching that. That's insane. I can't believe that they didn't after they gave over the soul. I can't believe that they didn't just chase the rest of the members and die while Camille ends. Like that felt like the game was over from Flannel. They just needed to sacrifice the KDA and die. And I think that Jake ended up dying there because he realized that they just lose. So he's just like playing strong, like in their face, acting like he thinks he wins, and it's enough to force Flannel away. And oh my god, it's just a disaster. But a huge comeback for final boss though. Very strong mentals from them. I'll give them that much.
Yeah.
They had faith in the Kartha scaling, and it came through in the end.
Yeah, no, it absolutely massive in the end. And I mean, yeah. I really don't know what else there is to say. That felt like a game that was Flannel's game to lose, and they lost it. But I mean, if you are the side of final boss, you take that. If your opponents are gonna mess up like that, you take it and you run. They are now in a position to get themselves into yet another grand finals. Yeah. But with all that being said, we are going to send it to yet one more quick break. It's going to be the final quick break of the night, as we have to let these players get a moment to breathe before Silver scrapes here. Game 5, the first game 5, I think, of this playoffs as well. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Game number 5, Silver Scrapes, final boss and Flannel. The game was in Flannel's hands and they let it go, giving final boss a chance to get themselves into yet another grand final to possibly go back to back. Flannel already making it farther than they ever have. One of the worst teams in Split 1 got all the way to the semis in split number 2, but only took one map before falling to high alert. They are looking to get themselves into a grand final against XSV, the X high alert team. A little bit of redemption possibly for them, but they need to overtake the reigning champion. So many stories, so much on the line. ADHD, what are we expecting here? Any differences? Oh, wow. That's a quick B1 pick.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see some stinker comps from both teams. These game 5 drafts, there's no good champions left. That being said, I think Final Boss has managed to find one of them. I think that Mordekaiser is a pretty good pick. I do think that Flannel has favored these AD split pushing bruisers really hard this series, so I think that Olaf would be a great pick here. It's pretty good into the Mordekaiser, and it kind of fits that theme of what they've been looking for from the top side of the map. But it is crazy. Have we seen a top laner be one to every game this series? What is the deal with that?
I don't think
Somebody
they
fill
beat
me in.
one top. They picked them second in the first game because it was Aatrox on R2. But ever since then, I think it has been top lane priority pretty heavily, which is very funny because a lot of the plays have been coming through bot side. So the Yunara pickup from Flannel makes a lot more sense to me. Um, yeah, it's definitely been a weird draft with the top laners across the board.
I'm thinking about what ADCs are left. I think Corki is left. Zeri is
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
Um, is
Lucian Nami.
Jinx and Lucian? Oh no! Don't say it ain't so. It's not Callista. There's no way. Game 5, lock me in Callista. Giggle,
That's
tell me it's not true. Oh my god, it's
that
confirmed
is
Callista.
the fact that it's Callista when we just went through. There's like Lucian, there's Zeri, there's Jinx still in the pool. That's a little crazy. That's wild. We do see the Victor get picked up, that hyperscaler in the mid lane, and it is going to be matched by Malzahar, Mr. Outplay Button himself. We saw Flannel operate with the Vigar in game 1. Another champion in the mid lane with an Outplay Button. Malzahar says, no, 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 you're not allowed to play in my lane. So I'm intrigued to see how that one will fold out. We go to the next wave of bans, and it looks like we're going to get very similar story here. Braum, obviously, that R4 ban. Thresh, I would not be surprised if this is a. I mean, I'm assuming Rel works well with Callista. I'm honestly not that familiar with Callista pairings. It's not something we typically see get pulled out all that often. Um, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Rel. Oh, never mind, Nocturne. I forgot they were hard banning Nocturne away from Angrotus.
Why is Flannel
Or
not
excuse
banning
me.
Nico?
Wait,
Why is Flannel not banning Nico? They're just gonna pick Nico, right? That shit hasn't been nerfed yet, has it? I don't think so. It's just gonna be Nico Callista. That's like the only way Callista is useful. Or Tarek. Callista Tarek is the other good one. Oh, I guess Renata's left too. Yeah,
yeah,
Flannel just has too
Renata.
many things to ban. Um, so yeah, definitely some options for Final Boss actually to make this Callista work. I do like the Victor and the Mordekaiser this late in the draft. I think those are insane Game 5 champs. Flannel is looking a little more like a Game 5 comp to me. Olaf, Yunara, Malzahar, those are pretty far down the tier list for me. Lulu, a decent pick, I think. Um, Lots of slows on the side of Flannel, and we know how much Callista loves slows. Blitzcrank is looking like it's going to be the choice. Not a bad one. Good into Lulu. Pretty decent with Callista. You can throw him in and then silence the whole team potentially. Not bad. Uh, Plus, you can do the funny stuff where Blitz Qs and then Callista ults to pull them even further. Doubt we're going to see that, but it would be funny. This is looking like an exciting one. Look, I think Callista is an awful, awful champion, but I do think she is incredibly awesome to watch. I love watching this champion. She is so fun. So I'm really hoping that it looks good. Wukong, another really strong champ to pick in game five. This final boss comp outside the Callista looks like a bunch of tier one champs in game five. They were saving it for the
Yeah.
end because this looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, meanwhile, Flannel, definitely a lot more outside picks. I think Yunara is the one that is most common. She's still pretty strong and pretty in the meta. Is just usually seen more as a how has Volibear not been seen? How did neither one of us even think about that? Volibear, yeah, honestly, one of the top jungle picks in the game right now. Casually still available in game five. Flannel, though, have a interesting composition. I don't think the Lulu is bad. She's one of the top enchanters currently in the meta. Yunara, like I said, I think is the most outright good pick. And Dr. Mundo is coming out. I'm assuming that's going to be the jungle.
Yeah,
Now, the
most likely.
question is Angrotus comfortable with Dr. Mundo, or is he trying to emulate Owner?
So Mundo is really easy to play and he's really good. I have we actually watched Mundo Jungle together? I don't think we have. I've wanted to because
I
I
we've seen Mundo come out that we thought was going jungle here. He always goes top lane, but with Olaf, I doubt we're seeing that happen this time around.
yeah. So on the one hand, Mundo into Callista, that feels like he's pretty hard to kill. But on the other hand, I feel like Mordekaiser and Volibear are great into Mundo. I don't think this is a good Mundo game at all. He's just giving them like an HP to like drain off of. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this. Final boss might have trouble killing them, but the real threat I think for the side of Flannel is this Olaf. I think Olaf is so strong this game. The rest of their champs don't look amazing to me, but I think Olaf is insane in this draft. I think it's so hard for Final Boss to kill him. I believe how the interaction works with the Olaf R versus the Mordekaiser R is that Olaf can cancel the Mordekaiser R if he presses it exactly as the Mordekaiser R animation is happening, which is pretty hard. But he can't just like go in the pit and then press R and get out. I think it used to work like that, but it no longer does that. So it is a bit of a tight timing, but it is definitely possible. That being said, most of these later fights, I don't think that Mordekaiser is going to be ulting the Olaf, uh, as I think the damage profile for Flannel is relatively low. But yeah, I I don't know. I think anybody could win this game based on the drafts.
Yeah, I think I personally like final bosses more. I think, like you said, this is besides the Kalista, this is for A tier. I don't know if I feel about Blitzcrank. We usually don't see that much Blitzcrank. He is valuable, obviously, in certain compositions. I just don't know if he's as good as like the Victor, Volley, and Mord, because those are all you could easily see them be played out in a best of three where it's just you pick whatever's best available. I am very scared for Final Boss because of that Olaf. You kind of touched on it, but fun fact, as someone who's cast it for the last three splits now, we have maybe seen Olaf 2 or 3 times picked on stream. We have not seen that much of Olaf. Every time we have, however, Olaf absolutely runs rampant. Olaf is one of those 1v9 champions where if you let them get ahead early, they could just dominate the whole rest of the game and you have no say in it. And that has been the case in the history here at the LFA. So I'm intrigued to see if Flannel is going to be able to get that opportunity. I think Lanza has actually been doing incredibly well. If anything, I think Lanza was a key piece to the good part of last game, and they've been a key piece for their wins. So if Lanza can keep up the momentum, keep their head on straight after a rough game for a loss, and just kind of head down and start rolling up on that top side, I think we could easily see that happen. I mean, also, if we see just a small alteration, last game we saw Angrotis put so much pressure up on that top side, put the final boss top laner on the back foot, but we saw Diana taking the kills. If we see that exact same situation roll out, but Olaf get those early kills, that could just set Flannel up for a dominant game win. Though if that doesn't happen, Olaf becomes a little weak. But Olaf usually historically does pretty darn well. So I'm excited. I don't think you can get much more interesting than this in a game 5.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun stories for this last game in terms of champ select alone. I think Olaf plus Lulu is so fun. Playing Olaf with Lulu feels like cheating.
Yeah, that's
It's
fair.
so fun. It's such a good combination. Olaf with any enchanter really is like if you're picking Olaf, you should be playing enchanters with it. Mundo honestly very similar. Mundo basically what he does in jungle is he's very weak until he gets 2 items, but he farms really fast, so he can hit that 2 item spike super early. Usually, you're trying to have Heart Steel plus whatever you build second. Usually, it's Dead Man's or Spirit Visage by the time Otacon spawns, and then at that point in the game, you're very strong. You're like borderline unkillable, at least compared to other junglers. So I think that Mundo is going to want to play this one a little slower. He has lots of prio. I think he's got a range first melee support to bot lane. Plus, I think I'm expecting the Olaf to win this top side just because of the way the series has been going. So I think he has the prio he needs to farm up and play this game well.
And something that we haven't really spoken on, but I am always a little scared when I see a Victor in play. Victor's one of those champions that they can get super ahead early and then fall off super hard. Or they could do what is very common for some reason, especially in the LFA here, where the victor struggles really hard early on, gets a little better in the mid game, and then there's one fight at the very end, right when the fights really start mattering, and Victor goes from being a very easily dealt with mid laner, but a hyperscaler into the biggest threat on the board who can damn near pentakill on a whim. So if this game does go long, obviously the Olaf and Mundo for the side of Flannel are scary, but I would definitely say do not count out Final Boss because if this game does go long, Victor, if he can get a couple kills under his belt, become a walking nuclear weapon that can decimate the side of Flannel.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it really is on the Callista. By the way, to all of you chatting, I am attempting to read all of it, and I completely agree with the person that said that. I think that they chose the "it's all about me" champ, and unsurprisingly, the game is going to be all about them. I think if Callista is able to get some kills early and get rolling, and able to stay away from these Malzahar ults, I think that they're going to be in a great position to win this one. I think they have the tools they need. They got the pressure from the volley bear to play towards the bot lane, but they are going to need to win early, I think. Flannel does have some really good scaling, while Final Boss really only has the Victor to fall back on. So I think that this is definitely a clash of styles that'll be really fun to watch.
Yeah. Alrighty, but with all that being said, play the Silver Scrapes. Get ready. It is going to be a banger of a game 5 here between Final Boss and Flannel. Is it going to be Final Boss looking for the rematch against former High Alert, now XSV? Or is it going to be Flannel upping themselves from last season, getting themselves into the grand final themselves? We will figure that out in just a couple minutes when we get back. Do or die. Everything is on the line here. The last spot in the grand finals against XSV. Flannel looking to get to their first ever grand finals. Final Boss looking to get back so they can reclaim their crown that they have yet to lose. And it is game 5 of the semis. Silver scrapes were played. And it looks like we are going to get a pretty standard 5 point. Neither one of these teams want to give their opponent an inkling of an advantage here. The drafts were fun. The game is set. It is just a matter of what happens next and who will get that final spot.
Hey, Soren.
Hey,
No
Steve.
peeking. No peeking. If you had to guess
Oh, God.
what Keystone Blitzcrank should take, what would you guess?
I don't know. I don't know Blitzcrank. Oh my god, I just looked. What is that? I was expecting a green, maybe even a blue.
Is that
Wow,
a mistake?
that's
That can't be real. Very aggressive bot lane angle here.
Is there any way this is going to be AP Blitzcrank?
It could be. Honestly, I could see like Proto Belt or something like to get in range. That would be pretty funny. King of Spades doesn't know that you don't fight Olaf at level 1, by the way. That's 2 axes, 3 axes. Huge winning trade already for the side of Olaf. Definitely a knowledge check on that champ. You either know or you don't, but King of Spades is able to trade back pretty effectively on the back end as that Q is going to connect with the Olaf as he walks away.
A little bit of a range gap there in favor of the Mordekaiser, at least early on. But here we do see Mr. Badonkadonk is being pushed under lane, and originally we saw Yunara push out a little bit, but this Kalista and Blitzcrank combination, Blitzcrank obviously being a massive threat early, one hook, and it could just mean doom and gloom for a support or an ADC. So they're playing very carefully. Lonzo got to take a little bit of damage there. The passive is procced from King of Spades, and Jake is actually going to be making their way up. Quick half clear.
Yeah, here comes the volley bear. Olaf does have flash and ghost, so I don't think there's any way that he dies here. Surely, right? Mordekaiser's gonna hold that for now. He's looking to 2v1 it. Is he gonna get it done? Not quite. That is first blood for the Mordekaiser. I feel like Alonso could have played that better. Uncharacteristic mistake from him, I think, but look at the farm. Olaf does not have TP, but the wave is in a good position, so I think he's actually going to be mostly fine here. If Mundo is able to get this red buff, I think it won't be too bad, but Jake is going to be there, so it's a bit of a race against the clock.
Yeah, it's going to get started. Actually, Jake looks like they're going to go for Krugs first, so yeah, that's going to be red buff just stolen away. Mundo's going to get out with their life. It looks like they are going to try to maybe take chickens. I think they're going to be spotted as there is a ward in it.
I think he's going to get it, though. Mundo clears this really fast. Mundo getting advanced early is actually a huge problem. I want to say that even though Final Boss got first blood, I think this might actually be favorable for Flannel, but Blood Hook does connect for the time being. Chaotic is able to connect with the W. It's a 3v3. Walt is doing a ton of damage, a lot of spears in Sunset Diner, but I don't think he's going to be able to get it done quite yet. The flash from the Blitzcrank is going to do a lot, but the Mundo Q is also not going to connect. We'll see if these slows are able to connect onto the Callista and slow down that attack speed and that movement speed. Jake flashes in, probably to his death, as he just immediately gets polymorphed and died. What a strange play, but a nice play from the Lulu to hold on to that for so long.
Yeah, that's a kill over to the Yunara as well, which is a massive boon for them. That is huge. They are going to pick up a Cole as well, so that is going to be a nice bit of early game pressure as well as gold. Also, they're going to be the first one to back, so they're going to be able to get some items, or get a little bit of an item advantage over the Callista. That is great for Flannel, as if they can keep this Callista down, that is kind of the win condition for them at this point.
Man, this is... I am a little disappointed that Angrotus kind of stutter-stepped his back there, as it's going to result in Volibear getting this Raptor camp, which is a little sad for the Mundo, but still very favorable for him overall. This is really risky from Volibear because he's potentially opening himself up to getting invaded by the Mundo here. Mundo is really weak. I would still favor, even level 3 versus level 4, I think I'd still favor the Volibear in that 1v1. Jake is pathing bot side away from his camps that are up. He's looking for the Raptors that aren't there, or to potentially look for this crab. I am very confused what's happening.
I don't think they were aware that the red got stolen. I think he was expecting, because he went around towards Drake Pit and then walked up to Raptors, not from red. So I actually don't know if Jake was aware that the red buff was gone. So if I think he was thinking he was going to get red Krug and then maybe go for Drake, but Drake is just going to be taken. There's going to be a little bit just like
it's going to be a flip. The Blitzcrank is going to connect. That's a level 6 Malzahar, so Jake is going to get Malzahar ulted when he's level 4. And this Drake is going to get super low. It's secured by the Mundo, but the fight looks like it's going the way of Final Boss. It's such a mess. Jake is still alive. Sunset Diner is going to be next. Mundo is trying to fight it out, but he's just so weak right now at only level 5. Rep does a ton of damage. That's a huge ult for the victories. He's able to pick up a bunch of kills. The Dragon goes the way of Flannel, but the fight goes the way of Final Boss.
Yeah, that's huge as well. That is almost, what is that? A 1.5k gold lead now over to Final Boss as they lose that Drake, which is Infernal, which is a pretty good buff to have, but there's a lot of gold going into the pocket specifically. I talked about it before, but that Victor could be a real big problem. 2-0-1 now. A kill also going over to the Callista. That is very scary champions to get kills on early, and that is exactly what just happened. Final Boss going to be feeling really good despite losing that Drake. And honestly, that does come mostly off the back of the Malzahar, what little they did get. If Malzahar doesn't have ultimate there, and that becomes a smite fight or just a fight in the pit with the Volibear involved, that could have been a lot scarier for Flannel.
Yeah, worth noting that Callista is a bit ahead on farm. Yunara has managed to actually pick it back up. It looked a lot worse, but she was able to catch a big wave apparently. Able to catch up a bit, so it's not as bad as it initially looked. CS discrepancies pretty much across the board outside of top lane. Heavily favored in favor of the Mundo in the jungle. Jake only has 28 farm. After this blue buff, that's going to be 32. For those of you wondering, that is a first full clear plus a crab and 1 camp. That's it. In 8 minutes, that is what Jake has managed to complete. And he's looking around for nothing on the top side. There's just nothing here. His bot camps are spawning, and he might even get that contested by the Mundo. Meanwhile, the Olaf is chasing down this Mordekaiser, who's going to win, but Jake might be enough to clean it up, but not before the Mordekaiser goes down. Lanza able to pick up the kill in the 2v1.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be a kill going over to Jake, who's also going to take the opportunity to take the advantage and take the grubs, which are going to be uncontested here, as it looks like Angrotus is all towards the bot side. There is the possibility of a play towards the
Mundo
bottom 2, but Angrotus actually is just going to go for the camps, which is the smart play here, as they have no vision, and they can assume that these grubs are gone.
This is so bad for Jake. Losing this bot side is actually, like, again, I'm not even sure it's worth it for Jake. If Mundo is able to clear out all three of these camps, but Mr. Badonkdog is probably going to have to flash here. Jake is not going to be able to get anything else, but it looks like it's going to be enough. I cannot believe that is enough to get the kill. That is insane to me. I guess Volibear and Victor are just really strong.
Volibear does also have Lost Chapter as well as another component, so there is a lot of damage early on into this Victor. It looks like they're going to try to push the advantage. That's a huge Blitzcrank ult.
Yunara is trading back pretty well, but it's not going to be enough. And Volibear still has ultis, gets the Polymorph, but Angronis is just so weak right now. The Lulu E is going to buy a lot of time. The TP bot is going to dissuade any further action. But in the top side, it's now Mordekaiser that's somehow winning this. This is a complete mess as both teams are brawling. Neither team afraid to walk away from the fight in this Game 5.
No, and despite what we saw earlier, King of Spades wins that fight against the Olaf pretty confidently, is going to get that win, is also going to do a lot of damage. He's going to take a few turret shots there just due to unfortunate positioning from some of the minions, but that's a lot of turret plates gone, a lot of gold into their pocket as well as that kill. So this top lane is cracked open for the Mord. Meanwhile, Flannel struggling at pretty much everywhere else on the map, and seeing as they lost those grubs, they're not even really getting much in that area either. I mean, the fact that Mordekaiser is so far, not Mordekaiser, excuse me, Mundo is so far ahead of the Volibear in CS is one of the very few bright spots for Flannel right now as they are struggling.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat and I'm seeing some people saying the game is over. All I'm going to say is if you know, you know. I feel like we have seen so many 10k gold throws this season. This game is not even close to over. There are so many opportunities for Final Boss to throw this gold advantage. That being said, they are pretty ahead. This Volibear is very behind though, so it is going to be pretty hard for him to play. Flannel is just playing way too fast. Like, they got to take a chill pill. King of Spades is going to take a lot of damage here as he's going to get the cleavers and the actions thrown at him. I think they're actually going to be able to clean this. Looks like they're split on whether they're going to commit to it, though. Really uncoordinated from the side of Flannel, as neither has faith in the other one, and they give up on the play, even though I think they might have had something there.
Yeah, if they just both dove in, I think they're able to trade that back and forth easily enough and secure the kill and at least get out. I don't know if get out comfortably, but at least survive. And in the process, they don't get anything for that gank up on top, and they lose the Drake. Meanwhile, there is going to be dived.
Oh my god,
maybe?
There's no
What's
way that they chickened out of this. There's no way that they chickened out of that. That's crazy. I guess they're afraid of Mordekaiser ulting one of them. Meanwhile, the bot lane is just completely forced away. Good setup from Final Boss there. They don't even have to dive to be a real threat. And Rept is even going to be able to catch that wave top. Just way better macro for Final Boss. I have felt like Jake has been kind of running around like chicken with his head cut off this game, but it's working out, so who am I to say this huge stun from Volibear is going to connect, but a lot of damage returned and not really able to do a lot on the backside. The Kalista ult is going to come out super early. A 3-man blitz silence is going to do a fair bit, but Yunara is still firing. Walt gets the slow connected, and that might actually be enough for the Mundo to clean this up. Walt is still firing, though. Mundo with the triple kill. This guy is really accelerated the Heartsteel and the almost 30 farm advantage. He is already getting to the point where he is super scary.
Mundo goes where he pleases, gets the triple kill, puts himself in a really good spot, finally gets one player in an advanced position for Flannel. I do want to say the reason that top dive did not happen is exactly what you called, by the way. It's not that they were worried about the Mordekaiser ult. He actually used the Mordekaiser ult and hit other turrets. They weren't able to really do anything about it. But instead, they were able to get the reset, make their way down to bot side to help flip that fight. That is huge for Flannel. For all of you who said that the game was already over, that about 4k gold lead has now dwindled down to 2, and this Mundo is a problem. Like you said, with that Heartsteel stacking up super early, is definitely going to be a little scary. Infernal Drake was already taken, Hextech as well, which means it is Mountain Soul to play for. And that's actually, I think, very scary if you're Final Boss. That makes it a big priority because obviously Olaf is a big threat, and so is that Mundo. But if you give them extra survivability, that becomes a massive problem. That Mundo can be a raid boss, and so can the Olaf, frankly.
Yeah, Olaf is pretty behind though. He's a level down. This Mordekaiser has an item on him. It's gonna be a while before the Olaf starts winning. He will win eventually, I think, but it's gonna be a bit. Meanwhile, this bot lane is just getting completely pummeled. This game is so bizarre to me because I feel like the whole series, it's been Flannel topside winning, and Final Boss getting kind of beat up on the top side, getting outplayed by Lanza. And hold on, we have a bit of a fight here. The Olaf ult is down already, and so is the Ghost. He's just forced to run away as Mordekaiser flashes over the wall. But yeah, anyway though, Final Boss side feels like they've been kind of getting smacked around a little bit too. But this game, they're just crushing it with the Kalista Blitzcrank. Huge confidence pick, and it's paying off so far.
Will say this is the first time we've seen Rep get ahead. Not the first time we've seen him get ahead. This is the first time we've seen him get ahead and not go for the Dark Seal. So that is something to be found at least interesting here, as every time they've bought the Dark Seal, the value has just not been there. So I'm not investing in it here. As Ingrotus maybe a little bit too far forward. There's the Mundo. He goes where he pleases, but there's a lot of resistance here.
Yeah, it's actually the Lulu that's caught out by the Blitzcrank hook. The Victor always going to do a ton of damage. We'll see what Chaotic is able to get done. He's firing and doing a decent amount of damage, but it's Rept that's cleaning everyone up. The TP is late from the Malzahar, not going to be able to contribute anything to this fight. It's going to be a 2-for-1 at the end of the day. Final Boss is still winning these exchanges. Flannel has to wait this game out until Yunara has at least 2 items. They just cannot win fights from this position right now. They're too far behind.
And on top of that, they also have lost the feats of strength, so that is something that is helping Final Boss take the advantage. Plus, they obviously have the Grubs and Drake as well, so there's a lot of firepower for this Final Boss roster. And Mundo, who was the big accelerated threat, was just taken out because there's just so much CC on the side of Final Boss that they just kind of had to sit. They literally had to sit there because they were stunned up for so long. So definitely not a great position for Flannel, like you said. Definitely have to wait until Yunara really starts coming online, because obviously Mundo is obviously a big target, big sponge for damage. But if they don't have the damage themselves to back it up and take advantage of those elongated fights, then what is the point? You see Ingrotus yet again pushing the issues, trying to take fights here.
Yeah, it is really funny how useless Blitzcrank can be in this game against a Mundo and an Olaf, as Mundo can just sit there and tank the hook basically for free, which is really funny to look at. In the top lane, though, Olaf does have level 11, so he is going to look for this fight. He's able to get the auto attack off to extend that alteration. I don't know if he's going to win this in the end, though. It's going to be very close. It looks like Lanza is just going to die here in the ult. There's nothing he can do. The flash is completely wasted. What a bizarre play. Lanza is kind of not having a great one after having played really well all series, and this is definitely going to be Final Boss's streak, as it's a 4v5. I would hope that Flannel realizes this. Like, they gotta go. It's not yours. Give it. Walk away. You can go where you please. Choose to go somewhere else. Not here. It's gone. This is insane. That was also a smite onto Rept, by the way.
Oh,
if they win this,
fight.
If they win this, it's so good. And it looks like they might. Yunara is actually doing a ton of damage with his AoE from her ult. Walt is gonna go down. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This is
they let Rep try to deal with the 4 alone. It makes way for Malzahar to be able to outplay button him, just completely isolate the fight, means that they're just removed entirely. It then becomes a 4v4, but they almost take the fight one by one, as the rest of them are still sitting in the back of Drake Pit. And because of that, they all just get fried, and Yunara and Mundo are able to just put so much damage down. Yunara is now in a super advanced position. I don't know how much gold they're going to have in their pocket, but 4-1-7 now. They should be able to either pick up their second item, or they're going to be pretty darn close. Mundo is now at 200 stacks of Heartsteel and is already most of the way through their second item. Never mind, Dead Man's Plate has been picked up, so they are done with their second item, working on their third.
Remember I told you 2 items by 20 minutes is the goal on Mundo. He's got it. he is great. He is raid boss already. Super accelerated. Blitzcrank finds a clutch hook, though. That's a nice one. Angrotus has just got to realize that this is gone. I cannot believe how reluctant Angrotus is to give over any advantage. He has got to be the greediest player I've ever seen, and somehow it's working. I cannot even believe this. He wants to save his support there desperately. He's going to walk into Jake, and it's going to take a lot more than that to kill Angrotus. On the top side, though, Olaf is already engaged onto King of Spades. He's going to use the ult to run away for now. And Flannel is just refusing to give anything. They are down a man, and they are looking to fight. They are ready to scrap. And the more time that they waste here, the better, as Jake's full jungle is up. So Mundo is just wasting time here, as Volibear just continues to lose advantage by his camp sitting there doing nothing.
They're going to look for a dive here on the Mordekaiser. It looks like they might. So a little bit has been. Oh, another pull.
Blitzcrank is smurfing, by the way. Can we get a Dark Harvest check, by the way? Giggle? is that a thing we can get? 5! Not bad, not bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this game has been a combination of Jake playing really bizarre and getting punished by Angrotus for his bizarre choices. Chaotic is able to dodge that hook. That's a nice one. It is going to cost him his flash, though. And the ultimate, so Flannel needs to recognize that they can't really fight without the Yunara R. That's how they were able to win the last one. So they got to be careful here. The Otacon is up. This is a bit of a scary position for him to be in, but Walt is going to get connected with by that W, and that Mundo is going to do so much damage to Walt. Callista is doing a ton of damage in return, though, but the Lulu ult plus the Mundo healing is just too much, as at the end of the day, nothing happens, but it looks scary for both teams.
Angrotus is staying in despite getting pretty low, but that health bar just seems like it is not ticking down. That's a lot of damage being dealt.
That is, but is it enough? Volibear is able to clean up one. Chaotic is in the backline, and he's able to get it done. What is that healing from Yunara? The Lulu plus Angrotus is just buying so much time, but at the end of the day, its final boss is going to get the advantage. Olaf is taking a turn on the top side, though, and I'm not sure that final boss can really get anything off of this fight other than a little bit of a gold advantage. But it's actually a 3-for-3 at the end of the day, so they don't even get that.
Yeah, and I mean, they're going to get the Riptail down. Are they going to take that turret? Lanza, though, is in a very awkward spot here. Has to run away. Should be able to. I don't know. Yeah, King of Spades isn't going to have enough gap close potential there. But, oh, that turret is hanging on by a thread. But it is still standing. So overall, it's not horrendous. And I will say, as weirdly again, as one-sided as this feels, final boss feel like they're in the lead pretty convincingly. It's just the Mundo. But after all that, the gold is still pretty much even.
Grotus has done a really good job this series of being the bridge that his team needs early. I feel like pretty much every series, Flannel has been behind early except Angrotus. And unlike some of the carries of Final Boss, when Angrotus gets ahead, I mean, he gets crazy ahead. He's just one of those guys that seems to play really well from a winning position and really poor from a losing position. And he's in a winning position in this game. So at this point, I'm putting my money on Flannel because Angrotus has shown that he is really able to carry when he gets ahead, and that's exactly what he's doing this game. Blitzcrank is going to get pretty chunked out, but it's Lanza zoning. The Dragon is going to be started. The Malzahar ult is going to come down, plus the suppression, and Mordekaiser is dead before he can even do anything. Olaf is going crazy in the backline. Callista is going to be able to clean him up in the end, but he's able to zone both carries of the side of Final Boss. And Flannel, I think, is going to be able to get this one for free as Angrotus is just chasing them. He doesn't even care about the Dragon. He's just healing through all of it. They can't kill him. He's completely invincible. And oh my god, the Blast Plant is going to get the kill on his Jake, and even Rept is going to go down over the wall. What is he doing? What an insane win from Flannel. They're going to get the Otacon and the Dragon, and this is potentially what they need to close this game out.
That is a massive boost for them. I mean, Mr. Dog and Sunset Batter are very low, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. Otacon's not going to do that much damage to them, especially as Chaotic is just burning through. That is a TP, though. That is going to be a bit of a hindrance. It's going to be a race. Can they get it? It's close. Yes, they will. But King of Spades is running. But I don't. Yeah, King of Spades is not gonna have the speed. It's so close, but no cigar for the Mordekaiser as the Flannel take it and run. That is a huge win for them. 2K gold lead now into their favor. I mean, Angrotis died, but he died to put his team ahead. Yunar is at 2 items, halfway through a third. Mundo is now super ahead. Malzahar also is now having a say. The team is finally feeling alive here.
Yeah, I think Flannel has the pieces they need to close this game out now. Mundo on 3 items. It's like you should think of Mundo as like a 0 level scaling, right? Like this champion is one of the hardest scaling champions in the game that can realistically be picked in comp. Like, yeah, sure, Kale scales better, but you're never gonna see Kale in comp, right? Like in terms of comp play, Mundo is one of the hardest scaling champions, and he is just so strong, has the confidence to walk into the middle of 4 people, is not taking any damage, buying so much space. But Victor is in the backline. I think they might have what they need. Is that Olaf is not here. The Yunara is doing a lot, but the Blitzcrank is able to connect with her, so that might be enough to stall the fight for now. And Grotus is still alive, by the way. We kind of forgot about that. Chaotic is able to put with the Blitzcrank, as Angrotus is still walking away.
He's gonna walk. He's gonna walk out.
He's still alive.
He's already healing, and he's healing like rapidly.
Olaf is taking the bot turret.
I mean,
yep, very cool champ.
Gonna stall out King of Spades as well. Walt is there. Alonza is gonna have to respect that, but will back away. A fight is gonna break out here. It's gonna be Chaotic and Grotus. Chaotic can't be caught out.
What are they doing? They just refuse to give up. Callista is forced to flash away, but she goes back in accidentally.
No shot.
I think it's going to result in her dying. Olaf is able to clean it up, but not before he goes down himself. The tower, at the end of the day, is going to get it done. One misclick from the highest APM champ in the game is enough to get her killed. It was so close, but just not quite enough. Callista goes down.
Okay, and now it's a race. The gold lead cut in half, only about a 1,000. Drakes are tied 2-2. The Otacon's a massive boon for Flannel. Definitely helps after losing the Grubs. I think that's a massive win in their favor. So Flannel, technically in the driver's seat, but Final Boss is still playing good, and Grotus is relying on that big health pool a lot. I think maybe a little bit of mispositioning. I think if Chaotic moves back towards red buff rather than going closer towards mid lane, I think maybe they win that with the kiting from Chaotic, but you know, those last minute decisions come in clutch. Mid tier 1 does fall, but no one's really around to get the gold for it, but that is a lot of pressure being put onto the jungle now of Final Boss, as mid tier 1, or excuse me, tier 1s across the board are now gone for that blue side.
Legends Esports, we cannot offer you top tier gameplay, but what we can offer you is absolute cinema. Game 5, gold is even, dragons are even, there's a Mundo, there's a Callista. I don't think it gets better than this. I think in terms of watching League of Legends, a Blitzcrank with Dark Harvest and Storm Surge and and the Sheen support item is if you don't think that's peak, you don't have good taste. I'm sorry. You can get a chat if you don't love that.
Really does say a lot. That's just casually an AP Blitzcrank, and that has not been the news that we've been focusing on at all. There's a lot. Drake is going to be up in here 30 seconds. Both teams want it. Both teams want to play for it. The sole point. They're going to get into a fight. King of Spades kind of isolated, though. They're just going to find him and try to mow him down. Going to pop the ultimate, sending Grotus to a different dimension. Going to stall Chaotic out of position.
Yunara is just caught here. Mordekaiser are getting a lot done this fight. Was able to chunk out Angrotis a lot, but he's still alive for the time being. Somehow he's the one that's still alive. He's chasing down Rept. We'll see if he's able to get him. The passive is going to save him for now, and he's able to get it done just barely. He has a sliver of health. That Victor ult is humongous. It's a triple kill for the Mundo again, but somehow there's 2 people on Final Boss alive. The Callista and a Mordekaiser are the last remaining survivors on the Rift, and they're going to be able to clean up this dragon. But I gotta say, Mordekaiser played that so well. He isolates Angrotis from that fight, chunks him out really hard, and draws all 4 members of Flannel to group up and get destroyed by the rest of the team. Really well played from King of Spades against his former teammate Angrotis.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we were talking about it a little bit, but these two are actually teammates from High Alert. Not last year, the good High Alert. From High Alert Split 1, when I think they were the, what? There's 10 teams in the league, so 8th best team in the league, so 2nd worst. Yeah, long time ago, but now they are fighting for a place in the grand finals, and it is so close. You can cut the tension with a knife here. They were able to pick up that Drake, so they're at Soul Point. They're looking for Baron now, and they're trying to find something in this jungle, but they're having to back away as now they see that the full force is here. And Grotus, despite dying so often now, is constantly getting at least 2 or 3 kills a piece before doing so. So they are still super far ahead. They're still about 30, almost 40 CS ahead of the Volley Bear as well. Super far ahead on items. Now it's Tiamat as well, by the way. So they are going to be doing a lot of damage and still the raid boss that they want to be. Baron's up. They're going to clear out that vision, but they're not going to start it quite yet.
Flannel was kind of caught with their pants down there. I'm surprised Final Boss didn't commit to that. They were on the wrong side of the map, and Olaf has no ult. I think maybe their confidence is shaking a little bit because I think they had a good opportunity to go for some kind of Baron play there. They don't necessarily have to finish it, but they should be able to draw Flannel into a fight that would be favorable to them. Blitzcrank is going to back right in their faces, and Gross is going to look for Walt, but nothing really there. Callista going to be able to pop away.
Callista Ghost in the just gonna walk under turret, and Grotus force the issue as he's been doing all day today, taking some serious chunks out of Jake as they're sieging onto that mid tier 2 as they back away. Again, Baron is up. Looks like both teams won it, but I don't think they're willing to pull the actual trigger. Just continue to put vision down. But right now, Final Boss is really the only team with vision.
Mundo just finished his Titanic, by the way. I really hate that Yunara is taking his red buff, though, because Mundo is so close to level 16. When he hits 16, he just becomes that much more powerful. It is so strong. But he doesn't have camps to clear. I'm hoping that these Krugs are enough for him, because if he's able to get that level 16, that is going to be a humongous advantage for this upcoming what is likely Baron fight. But Lonza is caught out. He might have the damage to kill rep here, though. The ult is going to be enough, and he's going to actually win the 2v1. That's crazy. That might be what Flannel needs to have the confidence to go for this. As Mordekaiser is caught out, the Mundo Q is not going to connect, but it doesn't matter when Malzahar ult is there. King of Spades is not even able to get his ult off. I think that Flannel have figured out that if they just engage on the Mordekaiser and are able to one-shot him, Final Boss can't actually win, as it is actually this Mordekaiser that is winning them these fights. Jake is looking to force this, but this is just suicide. They can't walk into this. Surely they're not going to look for another flip here, as Mundo is able to get this. And at the end of the day, Final Boss is actually fighting this really well, but do they have what it takes to kill Angrotus? Callista is kiting this like crazy. She's able to kill 3 already. It's going to be Angrotus versus Jake at the end, though, and I like Angrotus' odds here. Push, push, push. He's surely got enough, but the Jake's healing is somehow coming through and winning. The level 15 Volibear can duel the level 16 Mordekaiser, or the level 16 Mundo. I don't even know what's happening.
And he's winning too. Jake is winning this fight, and Grotus is taking so much damage. He's doing so much as well, but Jake out-survives the Mundo. I didn't know that was possible, but in the end, finally, as they have to separate, mostly because Angrotus is going to lose that duel, the rest of the team, the ones that fell early for Final Boss, are back into the mix. They get back into mid lane. Notably, they did get the Baron, but at what cost? Everyone but the Mundo dies. So, also, yeah, that was Mundo with a Baron, and he's still almost lost to Jake. What?
All their healing is crazy. Angrotus is just going to face check 3, but they recognize that they can't waste their skills on him, and we're up for round 2. Chaotic does not have Flash here, neither does Callista, so both ADCs very exposed. That's certainly what you're looking for. Malzahar does have R, so Flash R is available for... Oh, here it is. This is the play they need. Rep saved them last game, but it might be him costing them the game this time, as that is a critical pick. It's going to deny Final Boss the Dragon they need. Walt is running away from Angrotus right now and doing a ton of damage, actually. Angrotus is getting super low, but just barely able to survive that one, as the rest of the Final Boss is going to be cleaned up by the likes of Flannel. Sunset Diner and Mr. Badonkadonk are going to look for Walt, and I don't think he's going to be able to get away from this. Nothing to hop off of. I think Walt is just about to die. The Flash R from Malzahar is going to win them that fight, and it's going to end up resulting in Walt dying as well. And the Dragon for Flannel. This is a huge win for them.
Gotta give massive credit here to a lot of the members of Flannel coming up massive. I know we're talking about Ingrotus a lot, but this Yunara 13, 4, and 15 and a duel with Walt, who is 13, 7, and 11. They're gonna take this fight to mid lane. The turret is going to fall. This might just be the end. They're gonna find King of Spades. They're gonna take the inhib and they're gonna look for more.
Just tank this tower right in their face, but it's gonna take them forever to kill the tower because there's no minions here. I guess they, no, this is ridiculous. They just gotta get in the wave. It was funny, but you gotta relax a little. Mundo is the only one with Baron. Is that even still up? Yeah, it is. So they do have a little bit of time to push here, not much.
They gotta actually have the wave this time. Blitzcrank pull goes wide. Turret's gonna fall. No more protection. But they are gonna play this passively. This is actually good for Flannel. Obviously, oh, Ingrotus, don't emote on them when you're still that close.
Go spend your money. Range. Go spend your money. Stop. It's game 5. You're killing me. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Heartsteel Stacks is 700, by the way, very casually. No, Ingrotus, what are you doing, my man? He's just taking a speed run back to base. King of Spades is back. There's no shot. Okay, King of Spades falls. They have to back away now, right? What is happening?
Chaotic is going to kill Jake here, I think. Okay. Unfortunately, the slow is so strong for Yunara. I think Jake is going to be able to get out here. Just barely goes down to the Yunara. It's so close. But I want to point out that this is another game where, so when we saw Rept fall really behind, he carried a fight and won them the game. This is the second game now where we've seen Rept get really ahead, and it looks like they're going to lose. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
At least I say this with all the love in the world, but at least he didn't invest in a Darkseal just to make it worthless. Last time he bought it, got 5 stacks, immediately died 3 times, lost everything. This time, at least he was able to invest in something else, which I think genuinely helped him get a little bit farther ahead. But yeah, no, Rept is definitely a little bit muted. But again, it's Victor. Never count out Victor. But now it looks like the siege is coming through. All 5 making their way down mid. Mundo is going where he pleases. Baron is up in 1 minute. Soul is going to be a possibility directly after. But if this is a one-sided victory, it could also spell the end one way or another, seeing as they are down to slivers of the mid-tier 2 on the red side. So it would be a pretty quick march as long as they have the wave. Meanwhile, Flannel are already knocking on Wynn's door. They're knocking on Grand Final's door. They're just looking for the opening. Lanza, though, that is not it. Being pulled in is going to have to bounce away, but takes a lot of damage in the process.
Okay. Yeah, he's got time to reset here, though. The waves are really bad for Flannel Boss, so all it's really going to cost Flannel is a little bit of positioning on this Baron. Not the end of the world. Do want to point out that Flannel does finally have a pretty significant gold lead, but items are so advanced at this point, like, gold is starting to not matter quite as much. The real scaling is on these Heartsteel stacks on Mundo, which currently looks like he's at 743, which is insane. That is just so much free value. Plus the Jack Show is crazy efficient at this point. He's just going to be living forever. The Lulu redemption as well. There's just so much. No amount of heal cut is going to prevent this Mundo from just drain tanking everything. 2 going to walk into the Malzahar Silence. That looked like a potential play, but they don't quite have the confidence to go for it, as Ingrotus is in no man's land top. However, King of Spades is already very chunked. Malzahar is doing a ton this fight. This is really good. This is the game-ending fight for Flannel. They're certainly going to win this. Olaf is in. Walt is down. And so is Final Boss. I think this is going to be all it takes for Flannel to end this one. Rept is going to get run down by the Olaf here. Maybe the Cosmic Drive will be able to buy some time, but it's just delaying the inevitable. Jake is going to buy as much time as he can, but the waves are going to be here soon, and this tower is at least going to go down, and certainly Jake as well, as this Mundo just takes absolutely no damage. They are going to need somebody to kill Jake as well, though, because I don't think Mundo's going to be able to do it himself, as Jake is just going to continue to kill off of him infinitely. However, Flannel is going to end the game, and this was an amazing series. They're going to go after Jake just for good measure. Congrats to Flannel Esports on the finals. their best finish yet, and ending the chance of there being any two-time Legends winners, as Jake is going to fall here, and Flannel is going to advance to the finals to face XSV.
Flannel split number one, bottom three teams, one of the few that don't make playoffs, and they're one of the few that I think didn't even get to 3 wins. Next season, they seem a little bit jokey. They're having crazy games. They have a 4v5 in their favor that they almost throw away, but they get the second seed, but they don't get past the semis after getting into that game through placements of that second seed. This time around, they come in. I think they're the fourth seed, third seed, one of the two. They have to play through the quarters. They make it through. They get to the semis, and they almost throw it away in game 4, but they close it out in game 5. They break what they had last split. They get to the grand finals, and they're going to be facing down XSV, who are previously high alert, the same team that knocked them out of the semis last split, the same team that joined them in the bottom 3 in split number 1. The stories couldn't be better if we written them out and scripted them ourselves. Insanely good games, insanely good series, and in the end, Flannel take it. Man, what a series. Also have to give a massive shout out, of course, to Final Boss. Yet again, super, super good. In split number 1, they were a team that pulled off a reverse sweep. They went 5 games twice. They almost got themselves to the grand finals. Fell a little bit short to ID, who ended up winning. Last season, obviously dominant in the groups, go into the playoffs, dominant, and win it there. They have a little bit rockier of a start this time around, but they get super far and they fall at the final hurdle, but still give us some amazing games. Man, incredible. I'm almost don't have the words for it of how good this series was. This might be one of the best series that we have seen in the LFA. And the only games, ironically, I think that come close are the reverse sweeps that were pulled off by Final Boss in split number 1.
Yeah, this one feels a little bit like Destiny. We've been watching Flannel all
Yeah.
split. It was really fun to watch them in this game, and we're gonna get to watch them in the finals too. Uh, Very familiar with this team, both of us, and I'm sure all of you are, as we've kind of been following them. Uh, and one of the things that I love about this team is that they're one of the more balanced teams in the league. I think a lot of these teams are kind of led by one superstar player that the teams funnel resources into. Flannel feels like they're actually playing as a team. I feel like
Yeah.
at multiple points today, I had something positive to say about everybody, and Grotus had a really solid day today. Honestly, a bit of a coin flip player, and I think players like that are important to have on your team. But for those guys to work, you got to have the stable people too, and I think we saw a lot of that from Flannel today,
Yeah.
particularly in the bot side of the map. So I definitely think that Flannel was the better team at the end of the day, and they made it entertaining. It was super fun. I loved watching it. I think you guys did too. There's a lot of interaction today, and I'm hoping that we'll see you all again next week because I'm expecting it to be similar. I know a lot of people are coming into the XSV Flannel matchup thinking that XSV are pretty heavy favorites. I am not sure that I'm one of them. I think that Flannel has what it takes, and
I,
it's going to be a blast.
I said it at the start of this series. I had the feeling today, and Flannel are one of those teams where can feel like they are the underdogs. They can feel like they should absolutely get rolled. But sometimes Flannel just do Flannel things and they show up on the day and they win regardless of what you think and what the standings say. So who knows what it's going to be like on the day of grand finals, but I have all the faith in the world that they are going to put up a darn good fight. I do want to give one massive shout out and warning to the entirety of the LFA and everyone watching at home. Beware the banter in the LFA chat. Boat Chicken is on a celebratory run. I can see him in the chat already going crazy. Definitely was a little quiet during some of those final boss wins, but with them losing, I think he's going to go and have a party. So beware that. Okay, and actually, we are going to have an interview. We have Angrotis going to be coming in. Giggle, are we going to just bring him in, or are we going to send it to an intermission, then bring it back? Okay, we're just going to be waiting on him. But yeah,
We're going right to
going
it.
right onto it.
Giggle already heard me drop one F bomb this series, so he figured it's okay. Welcome, welcome to
Hello?
the desk, Angrotus. How are you feeling after a almost 1,000 stack Heartsteel game?
Dude, I think this is what it feels like. This takes fucking steroids, dude. I'm pumped. That shit was awesome.
Good
Not sure
game,
how
bro.
long you practiced that one. Not gonna ask. But so when you go to the casino, do you put 10K on red the second you step in? Is that what you do every time?
Absolutely. I'm rather taking wait, why do you ask? Where does that the random question go?
That just seems like something you would do. You know, there were multiple times where I'm watching you walk into Dragon Pit with no priority, no ability to really safely do it, and
I
then somehow you get it, and I'm just sitting here with my jaw on the floor, like, what is happening? I would be so
I
mad if you were my teammate and I saw you do that, but somehow it worked, so I guess it's good. What are your thoughts on those
I
kind of plays?
Yeah, ask any of my teammates that I ever play with. I'm a bit of a flipper all the time. That's just how I play. I don't know. Sometimes it works. Most of the time it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But, I try my best, and today that was enough. So here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even notice, but when you stole the Drake and right before you also took the Krugs and you just happened to jump through, take the Drake, and then get out with your life, I already thought it was insane. I didn't realize you took the Krugs as well. That you were pulling off things today that I don't think you could have tried if you had practiced and rehearsed it. They just worked out so perfect for you at the moments when they mattered most. But I do have one question here, and I know because a lot of people in the chat, and I was also looking at the LFA chat and banter for a little bit, and people were talking about that you and Final Boss were fighting for whoever gets 3-0'd by XSV. How are you
I
feeling
tapped into
going into
Discord. I
this
saw
matchup?
that. Oh
Yeah,
my
what are
goodness.
your thoughts on that perspective? What are your thoughts about the game from XSV?
Honestly, that was a hilarious message to read in the middle of my series, I won't lie. But yeah, I really don't want to lose to fucking Hyler or XSV again. That would be very unfortunate. Especially Sinestro. He's like the most annoying player in the league to lose against, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. 3-2
So
3-2 fucking flannel. 3-2 flannel.
no disagreements from me. That's all I'm gonna
If
say.
I lose to Sinestro 2 splits in a row, I'm gonna cry.
I told myself last split I would retire if I lost to Sinestro. I lost to Sinestro, and here I am on the desk. So
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you
I
get
know the
it.
feeling. But I had one question for you too. In game
Yeah.
4, after you guys threw that lead and lost, how was the mental?
Dude, it was tough because like we were kind of chilling around with like our hands. Like I don't even know how we lost, to be honest, because it felt like pretty winning 90% of the time, and then we just couldn't find a way to execute. But the mental was fine. We brought it back. I pulled up some scribble.io, put it in the chat room. No one joined, but I played by myself, which was fun. And I think that helped my mental immensely. I
I
mean, honestly,
imagine it
once
did.
drafts hits, like once next game draft hits, everyone's kind of focused on that. So it's easy to bounce back.
That's definitely a good attitude to have, and it explains why you guys are in the finals. Because I think that there are very few teams that would say that. I think that is a unique experience to play it
Yeah,
all.
that is a mentality of champions right there. But I think one last question before we go to send it home for the night. As
Mhm.
always, do you have any shout outs? Anyone you want to shout out? Family, friends, viewers in particular, anyone in your mind?
Yo, shout out my mid laner. He really showed up to play today.
He did.
Shout out
I would
Jake
agree with
for
that.
losing to me
Yeah,
after calling me the worst
I
player in
think.
FPL. Jake lost to
Okay.
the worst
Alrighty.
player in FPL. No, but it was a really fun series. It was great. Honestly, it was always a pleasure, so I don't mind. It's a great time.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for representing this amazing league, and thanks for taking us to Game 5 because I think a lot of us had a lot of fun watching today. And
Peak
we'll see you
series.
next week.
Yes, dude. Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Same to you.
All right, good night, man.